Hello, Games Done Quick, and welcome to Creature Corner, the GDQ Hotfix show that is all about non-human player protagonists or player characters in our favorite games that we're going to be showing today. And we did just have a game called Sleeping Dogs, but I think there was a alarming lack of creatures in that game, actually. So we're going to rectify that tonight with a really fun cartoon-themed show. You can see we have two games on deck: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, and Nicktoons Attack of the Toybots. And I love this pairing because it just is the classic nostalgia of that sort of early Nicktoons era, classic cartoon style games that we've got going on here. And I don't think we've had a whole lot of games that are like these two games in particular on the show yet. So we're going to be showing off a lot of variety. Now, the poll for TMNT Shredder's Revenge for the character choice is just about to close. So please do put your vote in there right now to be able to influence who a tea tree is going to play. And you might go, a tea tree? I remember that name. Well, that's right. A tea tree is the host of Out of the Box, which just concluded before this show, and is going to be showing y'all Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge character choice poll going on right now. Have fun and slash some baddies.
Yeah, my name is still a tea tree, and this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. People like to talk about their history in speedrunning. This was actually my first speedrun, which is only a couple of years ago now. All of my speedrunning journey outside of being like a viewer of marathons and doing a little bit of volunteering with Games Done Quick happened after I turned 30. So I won't tell you which birthday is coming up in a couple of days, but it's one of those.
Happy early birthday, chat.
Thank you so much.
You know you gotta give a tea tree some birthday wishes.
I appreciate it. Hey, I'll take a good speed run, a good showing of this game as a birthday thing. I'm going to turn the audio down on my end a little bit so I can hear Satan better. But yeah, this is going to be the arcade mode, the very classic experience. You get one set of lives, that sort of thing. We're going to be on the OK difficulty, which is the default. And I do see from our poll that we're going to be playing as Donatello.
Ooh, good choice. You love to see it.
All right, and we're going to have one more choice here before we get started. I'm going to leave this choice to you, Satan. I'm going to show you the different outfit options that we have, and you pick your favorite.
Oh, I love this. Please show me.
So a lot of these are based on like different runs of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles over the years. The movie, the NES games. This is the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, one of the most recent series.
Oh, the Rise looks really sharp.
And the Game Boy skins, which are some of my favorite.
Oh, that's super classic.
What do you say? That. You like Rise?
I'm going to go with Rise. The Game Boy is really cool, but the Rise is just, I love that color palette of the whole series. Okay. Good stuff. Looks like while we admire the beauty of the Rise palette for Donatello here, we are needing to work a little bit on our tech here. So while we do that, I want to tell y'all about something super, super exciting coming up really, really soon. PAX East. So in just about a month here, on March 26th to 29th, GDQ will return to PAX East. And guess what? We are still accepting game submissions. If you want to showcase your run on the speedrun stage, visit gdq.gg/submit by February 19th and submit your runs. Selected runners will receive an event badge, so it is a fantastic way to go and experience all the fun over there at PAX East. It is a fantastic time. But, of course, if you can't go to PAX East, no worries. You can stay here and watch GDQ channel, or you can apply to run at GDQ Hotfix. So you can go to gdq.gg/hotfix and submit your own runs to run virtually. So no matter whether you can go in person or whether you're going to stay comfy at home, you can always submit your runs for Games Done Quick. Also, yet another thing that is cool about GDQ and Hotfix and all that stuff is that you can access Hotfix anytime by going to our YouTube. So you can go to youtube.com/gamesdonequick. And of course, if you're watching this right now on YouTube, consider liking, subscribing, or becoming a channel member to support GDQ. We love our YouTube audience. We recently started streaming some of our events over on YouTube. If you saw, we had Back to Black 2026 and also a GDQ 2026 over at YouTube. And that was a really exciting opportunity for us to be able to connect with the YouTube audience. So if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to stick around. Enjoy the 1 million followers that we were able to achieve really recently. Thank you, YouTube audience, for making that happen. And yeah, stick around for more. There will always be more games done quick. Speaking of that, come on back, a tea treat.
Thank you very much, Satan. Hey, did you know that different things have to be captured different ways in OBS, and if you do it wrong, you don't get any video game audio? Thankfully, we've got that fixed. So we're just about ready to start here with our character choice arcade OK run of Shredder's Revenge. We're going to be playing Donatello, thanks to those of you out watching in the Twitch audience who selected him for us. Time will start when I get the player 1 icon over Donatello's head, which is after the opening cutscene and the cutscene for Chapter 1. With no further ado, let's get to it.
I love the art in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything about like the visual presentation, the audio of this game is a total labor of love.
Oh, totally.
And
so Saturday
3,
morning cartoon.
2, 1, start.
Woo! Good luck.
So Donatello is probably the most classic and maybe the most immediately approachable of the characters we could have chosen for today's run. He has very average stats in a lot of different ways, and some part of that is actually determined by the patches that have happened over the course of this game, which is one of the main things that happened when patching happened as relates to the original characters like the Turtles is Donatello originally had the longest taunt in the game at almost 3 seconds. And in one of the most recent patches, one of the final patches for the game that added some of the other characters, they normalized the speed of almost everyone's taunt to just over 2 seconds, which was a huge buff for Donatello. So we have the opportunity to use our taunt to recharge Super Bar on a variety of occasions. He also has pretty average stats in terms of like, for different characters, things like the rising and falling jumping attacks can do different damage. Donatello has the benefit of doing 2 damage on the way up and 2 damage on the way down. The 2 on the way down is a little trickier to make full use of because it's 2 different hits, which can be good and can be bad. The reason it can be good is because multiple hits build the light blue meter in the top left. It gives you special attacks a little faster, but it's bad because in a lot of cases, in enemies with higher health pools or with bosses, you want to do as much damage in as few hits as possible, because the more enemies get hit, the more they potentially have the opportunity to like snap back out of hit stun, things like that.
I am taking so many notes mentally. Chad, if you have like a note-taking emote, please put it down. This is great.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things about brawlers where, you know, things tend to look very straightforward, but knowing what your character can do, especially in a game with like 12 or 13 different characters total after all the DLC is said and done, that all handle in subtly different ways. The character who almost won, Usagi Yojimbo, the samurai rabbit, was actually one of the characters I was also like really hoping to see, so I'm glad there was affection there for him. He handles just fundamentally differently. He doesn't have diving attacks. When he's up in the air, he does an entire separate like melee combo like most characters do when grounded. And that really changes how he plays. But we are on into our first boss, Bebop.
That's a creature.
Yeah, definitely. There are an awful lot of them around here. We are not at all mad for the opportunity to beat up on some extra Foot Clan members here in the boss battle, because it's a great opportunity to build up more super without having to use a taunt, which is rarely ever safe in a boss battle. On through the end of level 1, and Rocksteady grabs the head of Krang that was sitting in the back control room. So we are off on the back foot after him into the Big Apple at 3 p.m. It's about 12 hours after Turtles in Time, which was 30 years ago, give or take. So don't think about how only 12 hours passed in 30 years, because I don't want to either.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that's nearly as important as Donatello jumping on a pogo stick at the end of that boss. That was my favorite animation I've seen so far. Although I love him throwing the guards into our face right now as well.
Yes, the Mode 7, a throwback to the arcade style where you could do that. Back when scaling the size of an enemy sprite was extremely new and like a really cool thing that you could show off that a graphics engine could do.
Yeah, Chad is saying 30 years speedrun. Sorry, Richard and Chitra, you're going to be here a while.
All right. As long as it only takes about 12 hours.
It's fine.
Not ideal. I wanted to send that sewer lid back at those two approaching enemies. There's a lot of things you can do like that, where you can use stage hazards to basically be ready for incoming enemies, much like that. That one actually went over. Interesting. There we go. That was actually a perfectly executed screen for maybe the first time so far this run. But yeah, like
that was really clean.
A lot of it comes down to knowing when more enemies are going to start spawning, being ready for that sort of thing to happen, and knowing what your character can do to deal with the situation when it does come. Like, I know one more enemy here is going to make this next wave of guys spawn. We actually didn't defeat that one, so we'll deal with him in between the other waves. We try not to step too far forward. We at least got the bike. That'll do.
Was that a little friendly fire from that car?
They do have a habit of doing that to each other. We also, if you've noticed, the pink axe soldiers are the first enemies that have more than 4 health. Any enemy in the entire game that's carrying something only has 2 health to make up for the fact that they're hypothetically more dangerous. I wanted to hit that late. There's about 2 frames where you can hit both of those soldiers with the same road cone. Nope, not dead yet. There we go. Yeah, Donatello's also relatively approachable in that his dashing attack stops him at the enemy. There is a pizza there that would have given us more health, but we shouldn't need it.
We don't want to go for pizza?
There's another pizza over here. We'll get that in just a second.
Good, because otherwise that doesn't sound very Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You're not wrong.
To ignore pizza.
Oop, I didn't want to do the slide there.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, it was cool.
Yeah, the idea here, what we want to do is we want to get to the boss here while the timer is still flashing. It did run out at the end because it changed, I think, in the second patch of the game. If you have a power-up pizza like that one, which gave us unlimited special, and you carry it into a boss, whatever timer is left will be available to you during the boss fight.
Oh. Yeah, it so definitely sounds like an advantage.
Yeah, you could get a cheeky bonus super without having to earn it back while avoiding explosives and stuff during a boss fight. Didn't end up needing one.
Yeah, very nice. Rhino down. And Pogo up.
But it's only very temporary because they broke into the garage that they were getting to here and took out the Turtle Tenderizer, their van of choice. And now it's time for the first auto-scroller.
Not our very own Turtle Tenderizer.
It's true.
Brutal.
And we are a turtle, so we might get tenderized if we're not careful.
Ooh, hope
Speaking
not.
of the game having an absolutely fantastic soundtrack, there's a couple of the auto-scrollers in particular both get fully produced tracks with lyrics and all that, so naturally they are about the TMNT.
Oh yeah, this is a jam. If I don't see jam emotes in the chat, I will be a sad, sad person. Now, are we riding a turtle-themed skateboard?
Yeah, so Donatello, as the 80s cartoon theme said, does machines.
Indeed.
So anything technological that's created for the turtles is probably a Donnie invention. And these rocket skateboards are definitely one of his. The Game Boy, probably not, but I did see a question in chat asking what difficulty the run is being done on. This is on the OK difficulty, the default or middle difficulty. That changes the number of things, most obviously how much damage you take and how much health enemies have, but it also changes a lot of AI routines, like enemies get more or less aggressive on different difficulties. Oh, yeah, definitely got off my cycle there. The idea there, as in a lot of screens, is to be on basically the right height to use certain kinds of attacks to just clear enemies as they start to converge on one another. And if your timing's even just a little bit off, especially with a slower character like Donatello, then it can get away from you pretty quickly.
It's really impressive that you have a good enough handle on a bunch of the characters in this game for us to do just like a 5-option pull at the beginning of this run.
The game is surprisingly well balanced across all the different character archetypes and their individual abilities. Once I really learned the game, back before they released the additional characters, I ran the game with every character I think my fastest back at the time was Splinter at just over 58 minutes, of which I was briefly the world record holder for a Splinter solo run. And the longest was like still only about an hour and 5 minutes.
That is very impressive, actually. Hats off to the devs for being able to balance that, because that is one of the trickiest things, definitely, in game development. Making sure that your characters are able to sort of each stand on their own as being interesting and fun to play and all viable.
Agreed. And like even larger player number runs, which are always, balanced by adding in more enemies, that kind of stuff, that wasn't super long compared to solo runs. They're definitely longer, but a lot of really coordinated players could do neat things that brought it surprisingly close to parity with solo runs.
I'm also assuming in these autoscrollers you basically know when and where enemies are coming. Is that kind of true throughout the whole game, or is there RNG with enemy spawns?
As far as where they come onto screen and like up until the point where they walk to their intended spot, that is broadly true. But there are lots of opportunities. Like there will be places where they come onto screen so quickly that you have very little opportunity to intercept them, especially if you're playing as a slower character or you're playing with multiple characters where there's more spawned than normal. There's a lot of different factors that can go into that sort of thing. But broadly, the answer to your question is yes. You want to be where you know the enemies are going to be unless there's a reason not to be. Like those flies on this stage, you don't want to be where they are when they spawn because you're not going to hit all of them that way. And then you have to figure out how to get to, where they fly away from, which is much less predictable.
Pogo on the skateboard. Good answer.
Right?
Thank you for that. Wow, pogoing on a skateboard? I'm not sure a human has done that.
I wouldn't
Turtles
encourage
might be
it,
kind
no.
of pioneers in that. Chad, if you're listening, please don't try that at home. I don't want to be responsible for your loved ones questioning why you're in a bit of a pickle.
I need several emergency visits. I can't explain why.
Yeah.
Don't ask questions, please.
Exactly. All my bones are broken, and you don't need to worry about why. I love him lounging on the.
Yep. And then I grabbed him right off the bench. Really rude of me, but the fastest way to get that enemy off the. One of the other kind of general purpose tricks that is difficult to do repeatedly, especially when you're trying to self-commentate, is you can hit enemies who are in the middle of an attack, but your window for doing so without getting socked yourself is, as you might notice, very small.
That makes sense. I can also see now you're using the environment to your advantage.
Oh, yeah, they're some of the best weapons you have. They tend to confer knockback. They do multiple hits or multiple damage per hit. It's, as though you were attacking yourself, but you also have the ability to attack on top of those things happening usually.
Nice.
Archers.
Sounds very efficient.
Archers, the weakest enemy in the game with only a single hit point.
Well, be gone.
That's me hitting the wrong button. That's fine. We'll have an opportunity to taunt on the next screen. But yeah, I was hoping to knock back the lid there because that would have taken out at least several of those enemies.
Maybe in the future. I also love seeing the parrots in New York City.
It's a zoo.
Giraffes?
They're from around here somewhere.
Oh, I see. I missed the memo. We're truly in the land of creatures.
Indeed. I haven't done that anytime recently. I hit that slightly too early. I was waiting for all those enemies to converge around the explosive barrel and then save the other barrel for right there. But
oh, a tiger. That is so cute. And the monkeys are adorable too.
oh, you're not good. Well, I don't think
last
they're
show.
adorable after watching what they do on the next couple of screens here. But yes, objectively, they are adorable.
Okay. Okay, dokie. I will, I'll be ready.
Yeah, so they're nuisances. They can hit you or the enemies. It only does 1 damage, but it does knock you out of whatever you're doing. So, like, if you're trying to defeat an axe swinger who's coming after you and you get hit with a banana, you're going to take that hit.
Oh, we do not like that. Okay, bad monkeys.
They are mischievous. Now, that one, that's just cute. Sleeping monkey there is all right in my book.
The sleeping monkey? Yeah. We love sleeping monkey.
First we
That
had
would
sleeping
be
dogs.
the cutest emote ever, by the way.
True. But yeah, even things like that, where those enemies run onto the corners of the stage, if we can take them down just a little bit faster, that's time saved. Like getting that last enemy who would have been the last one to run off the stage, getting him defeated sooner is a definite time save. And the opposite is that, where you leave one enemy who escapes to the other side of the screen. Definitely don't want that to happen. Defeating that enemy let us get past that little auto-scroller section with the stampeding enemies a little faster and on into our next boss fight, which is not Bebop and Rocksteady, but instead Groundchuck and Dirtbag. If you don't know who they are, I don't blame you. Great names, though.
I don't, but yeah, the names are awesome. I'll take it. Their designs are too. All of the enemy designs in this game are fabulous.
We're going to stay far away from Dirtbag because if he can't get to a turtle within a little while, he will instead come up quickly. If he can get to you, he'll pop up 3 separate times. We wanted that to happen earlier as well. So let's go ahead and tank the rest of Groundchuck's attack and then get far away from Dirtbag. Unfortunately, each time he comes back up, he gets the first hit knockdown again. So there's that brief invulnerability. That's part of why on bosses you want to do high damage attacks, and actually part of the balancing they did. Tribute Games, the maker of this game, Marvel Cosmic Invasion, a lot of other good classic style beat 'em ups and other similar games. Their balancing made it so that many of the more useful attacks in speedruns went from being like 1 attack that did 10 damage to being 2 attacks that did 5 damage, which unfortunately makes you a little weaker against most bosses. So you just got to stay on your toes that little bit more. Now we are on.
I think that 2 times 5 would equal 10, but no, it actually doesn't.
Oh no, the damage value is the same. It's just that it gives an enemy, like, you know, if they would take the whole hit because they don't get knocked down, now they only take the first hit.
Exactly. Now we're hanging out with some public transit.
Yep, hoping we can catch a ride. Although the foot soldiers who are catching a ride don't really seem to be enjoying themselves that much.
Oh, that doesn't look too fun. Also, who left that pizza on the tracks? And how is it impervious to the subway cars?
Probably the same people who left all these explosive barrels lying around.
That's true. Yeah, I have a lot of questions about the plot of this game, and I'm not entirely sure how many you'd be able to answer, or anyone.
I'm like, the plot, the OSHA violations, I'm not sure the two are strictly that related, but understandable that you'd have questions to ask about all of the above.
Like, why were the rhinos running around the zoo?
To find the rest of Krang's body parts, the big robot guy that we're going to see in a handful of levels from here.
Ah, Krang is the answer to all things.
Yes.
Noted. Those signs are. I love how Go appears right under stop.
True.
Right there.
There we go. That was better. A couple of new enemy types.
If that
isn't
speedrunning, I don't know what is.
Both
I love the little bots.
The Mousers and the Mouser Mamas, which spawn little baby Mousers if you give them the opportunity, which are individual new enemies with their own health pools.
Well, that's annoying.
Yeah, they become high priority enemies for obvious reasons. They do have the 10 health, so Donnie's diving special. Every character has 3 unique, like, they share how the specials are activated, but when your bar is full, you can either do a standing super, which in Donnie's is the big dome attack that goes over his head and has that area of effect. The dive is just a, like, dive straight down to the ground that does the 10 damage all at once to anything it hits. And then there is the dash, which is the kind of matrix effect, like the he does the diving kick, and then there's like all the hit effects at once that we saw early on. So every character has their own versions of those sorts of things that all have slightly different properties, like his jumping and diving kicks. This is the Rat King. This is arguably the worst boss in the game because the Rat King just does Rat King things. And if he doesn't feel like letting you hit him, you're not going to hit him.
That's definitely a Rat King thing. A sine wave of rats.
Yeah, that actually is the preferred pattern, and I did not get the opportunity to take advantage of it. I do end the, I finish the normal combo with the rising kick just to get a little bit more free damage in there. Boy, I'm really just like 1 or 2 frames off on all of those. Because we're getting the good pattern multiple times in a row, and I'm not getting the taunt off. There it is.
Yay! Third time's the charm.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you want it every ideally you want it every rotation, but I'll take at least one.
Hey, Donatello's happy. So
Granted,
I'll call that a W.
having a positive attitude is an important thing in chasing down bad guys and in speedrunning.
that's true, actually.
So
Very,
we
very
still
important.
haven't managed to actually like get any of Krang's parts for ourselves, but at least they're taking the head to a more enjoyable location this time. This is the mall. Every good game that takes
Yippee.
place in the 1980s has to go to the mall at some point, right?
Well, yeah, for sure. And I mean, again, this is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, so like all of this is working in the mall's favor.
Love the classic paper cup style rug design there.
Yeah. Fun. I think every like Sears manager is hoping that we could transport back in time to this era.
Are there still Sears managers? Are there still Sears?
I think technically.
Interesting.
Chat, if you want to check us on this, feel free.
Hey, chat, let us know where the nearest Sears. No, wait, don't dox yourself.
No, don't do
I don't
that.
need to know how close you are to a Sears.
It's probably many, many miles, though.
There is
we'll just wager a
yes,
guess.
there's a good chance.
Yeet him into space.
So I saw somebody in chat ask, why does Donnie's mask look like that? Is that how turtles look nowadays? And the answer is kind of yes. This is specifically a costume added to the game later that is for the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I believe is a 2018 series. So one of the more recent appearances.
Very visually appealing as well, which is why I chose it. Thank you, T-Tree.
Of course.
Although that Game Boy coloration is really sick too. Chat, you should maybe go play this game so you can try out all the skins and all the characters for yourself. Because as you might have seen if you were here earlier, we had a big character poll for the character we were going to be using for this game. And that means that there's just so many different characters that you can try out in this one.
Yeah, I picked 5 characters that I felt comfortable running, and that's less than half of them. So, actually, no, I couldn't pick several of the characters that I am comfortable with because they are not creatures. So, you can also play as April O'Neil, you can play as Casey Jones, and you can play as Karai, the daughter of Shredder.
But those aren't creatures, so not allowed. Also, the answer apparently is that we have 5 Sears left. Single digits.
All right, then.
Wow. Oh, wow, they're interrupting them while they're gaming?
Yeah, sorry.
They might have been on PB pace. Mean.
Look, they brought weapons into the arcade. I can't sanction that kind of coonery.
Okay, that's valid. The name is safety.
But we don't have an opportunity, or we don't have an option except to play a game of Tempestra.
Ah.
You've been brought out of the game to face us.
The Dame of Games.
I feel like at least some Frame Fatale should take that title on for themselves, right?
Oh, that sounds awesome, actually. And speaking of, chat, if you would like a little reminder, Frost Fatales is coming up really, really soon, way sooner than you'd think. It is the second week of March, starts on March 8th, and is going to feature an amazing assortment of games. Type !FF in the chat if you want to learn more about the Fatales community, and you can go check out the schedule as well on the GDQ website. There's going to be so much cool stuff in that marathon there. Highly, highly recommend blocking your week out and watching some cool games.
Good timing.
It's almost like I'm a pro.
You have done this a few times before.
A couple times.
So yeah, turns out Krang's body was powering the Tempestra machine, and we also didn't notice. So time to chase up onto the roofs.
We're Donatello. I feel like we should have noticed that.
Probably. Unfortunately, Donnie doesn't have any backup today, so he had to take care of the fighting instead of the machine stuff.
That's actually a really good question. Why are we on a solo mission? I wonder.
Because the game lets you play the way you want to. It'd be kind of weird if it forced you to do co-op. I mean,
fair.
granted, there are lots of
Have to.
co-op like focused games.
That's true, and they've become more popular in recent years, so. Who knows? Maybe we'll see a co-op only TMNT game in the future.
I wonder if that isn't something that already exists.
Foot Cruiser.
Maybe an arcade game.
Maybe. I could see that.
The kind of thing that would show up at a Dave and Buster's.
I'm loving this this bop that we're dancing to here.
Yeah, Mall Meltdown, the previous level's soundtrack, might be one of my, if not my favorite, but there are very few tracks that aren't worth shouting out specifically for how good they are.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the pit with you.
Back from whence you came.
Wow, we only got one of them once. Or rather, we got one of them only once. But that's the nature of, again, like what I was mentioning earlier, where, you know, if you have to hit somebody with both parts of your attack to do full damage, you just have to be that little bit more aware of your spacing. One of the other things they actually changed with patching was the diving super, the kind of slam to the ground, used to have a much larger area of effect than it does now. So those were generally much easier to use. You could kind of use them specifically to stay out of an enemy's range and still hit them, which is much more important later on with enemies that are like good at blocking and also tend to have super armor and other properties where they can basically just keep coming at you if they feel like it. We've now run into the sword foot. They have the standard amount of health,
Sword
but they
foot.
can put up their, yes, I know. Not where you keep a sword usually.
No,
But,
not really.
They can block from the front with their sword, and then if they get the time to set up, they will do that block as like a constant thing, and if you hit into their block, they will counterattack you. Oops. I should have kept that on the ground. Yeah, so we got the chance to see the counterattack, but thankfully it didn't hold us up too much. I'm just going to go ahead and use this to taunt before we get screen transitioned over into our next boss fight, which is Bebop and Rocksteady at the same time.
Woo! Upping the ante.
Well, neither of them could stop you alone, so they might as well try something different.
Fair enough.
I was hoping they'd come say hi together. I'm actually going to hold on to this first super until they decide what they're doing. They are on totally different cycles right now, which does happen sometimes, but it's not super common.
They
There
are
they
not
go.
coordinated.
Oh, and they didn't even run
They
at
need
each
to
other.
work on
The
their
most
teamwork.
likely thing that happens there is they run into each other, which gives you a brief time
Oh, that's
to hit
really
them.
funny.
And no, today they were actually working together and decided not to hit each other.
I see. They did go to their team building
Seems
exercises.
that way.
Good for them.
All right, this is a safe spot. We'll just tank out the damage because it doesn't matter. We'd like him done faster, please.
Yes. Speed is key.
All right, on into our second auto-scroller. If you're a fan of 80s style rock songs, what you might affectionately call butt rock, this song is absolutely for you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, got like big Transformers, Stan Bush energy.
Mm-hmm. It's so smooth though. Like you can definitely tell that it's, you know, a modern era
Fair.
tune.
Yeah, the quality of the synths is a little different. The 80s style synth is immediately obvious.
Exactly. You're like, yeah, I know when this came out.
This is back when they called it the synthesizer instead of just synths.
The synthesizer. It sounds
They
like
used its
an villain name now.
Yeah, maybe. I was gonna make the joke they used its full government name.
Please call me Synth. My father was synthesizer.
Call me Korg. That's a joke for the synthesizer knowers in the audience, I guess.
Anyone a synthesizer knower in the audience?
Although one of our other
yourself.
showrunners, Mr. Shasta, would probably know a thing or two about Korg because there is a Korg game / utility for the Nintendo DS.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's wild.
Yep.
Of course, you and Shasta would be the two people on the planet to know this information.
Something like that.
Yeah.
There was just an era there where people were figuring out what they could do with like game consoles as like productivity or other devices. So they did it like there was the Korg synth built in. The PSP had a game called Beaterator that I think had like LL Cool J or maybe Dr. Dre like do an ad for it, suggesting you could like make your own beats on it.
Whoa!
It was a very unusual time.
I remember well, not even discontinued, but never quite became a reality heart monitor for the Nintendo DS as well.
Yeah,
they tried a lot of stuff.
Not the first Nintendo console to have those sorts of tools. They did stuff like that for the NES as well.
True. I mean, it really goes back to Nintendo being a, general toy distributor before they were a video game company in specific.
Hanafuda cards, punching hands, all sorts of unusual toys and tricks, in addition to the Game & Watch that would eventually become the cornerstone of video game lines. You're not wrong.
Also, just as we were shouting out Shasta, just want to quickly shout out that he does run Do All the Things, which is a show about 100% and completionist runs that runs every Friday. So if you would like to, every other Friday. So if you'd like to check that out, gdq.gg/hotfix.
Yeah, looking forward to some Paper Mario this week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, setup didn't go quite the way I wanted it, but Wingnut at least didn't take off. He has, if you're familiar with SNES games, you might know Storm Eagle from Mega Man X, and he has a habit of going Storm Eagle on you, where he can do that wing flap and knock you away and then immediately take off. And then he's not, he's technically still hittable, but he's not like stuck on the corner of the screen waiting for you to whack him for another, 15 seconds. So not getting any of those is a nice time save.
Yeah, that was really well done. He was just off the screen.
All right, on to the here, Coney Island.
Those are creative.
They can't give these enemies right on. They're foot soldiers. They aren't really licensed to handle full weaponry, so they got plunger guns instead. But they're just as dangerous if you're a turtle, as it turns out.
Ah, fair enough. Know your enemy. Plunger guns.
They
look like trombones.
Yeah. No, I can see it. They also have, if they are charging up their shot or if they've already loaded the shot in, they have a single hit of super armor. So that's also something else you have to watch out for. And we've got our Naginata soldiers. They have an extremely wide hitbox, and then they also block from the front like the sword soldiers. So it just ends up being like, from this point on, there's so much more testing of like, hey, do you know how to handle this combination of enemies in this particular way? And that's what a lot of screens turn into.
And meanwhile here, I'm just literally laughing every like 5 seconds about some new visual gag they have on screen.
Oh yeah, I am also trying not to get hit by the loose planks of wood because those do knock you down and you take damage. So definitely a worst case scenario. I think I already got hit once.
I did see that earlier.
Oop, and then I accidentally hit the super button.
Got back up though.
I'm using a controller with back buttons, so I accidentally tapped that once or twice now. Threw out a super I didn't need to use.
Supers look cool, so again, can't complain.
All right, let's group you all up.
All together now.
Indeed. That does sound like something Donnie would say.
It's true.
There we go.
I love TMNT dialogue.
If you hit those black clad soldiers with a hit that doesn't kill them, they will hop back and throw out a fistful of size, which is far from ideal.
Yeah, that little charge up to make sure that he died as soon as he jumped in.
A partially charged attack does 2 damage. A fully charged attack, at least with a character with a normal charge cycle. Again, with DLC characters, there have been change-ups to that, but normally it's 2 for a partially charged attack and 4 for fully. The other thing you can do there is like get somebody up against a wall, and then you don't have to worry about the brief invulnerability they get when hopping back. You can technically take down those fleas to get these 2 to spawn in a little bit faster, but we weren't in the right place to do that, so I won't worry about it. play a little carnival game.
Fun.
Unfortunately, the only prize is sushi, and the turtles don't like sushi very much. The human characters are excited about it, though.
I don't get that.
What,
Sushi's
you wouldn't get
great.
sushi from the carnival? We're just different people, I
okay.
guess.
Yeah, when you put it that way.
And, what's a carnival without seeing the giant man-eating alligator? Crocodile? Well, you'll have to ask Leatherhead yourself.
Ooh, I'm trying to remember my alligator crocodile knowledge to see if I can discern it, but I don't think his design's clear enough.
No, understandable.
But Chad, if you've got an opinion, put it on in there.
Yeah, if you know a thing about crocodilians, I'm always
Crocagator.
interested in learning more.
Indeed, we love learning more about creatures here on the show, Creature Corner.
It'd be weird if you didn't.
It would be, really.
I could also go for some gumbo, Leatherhead.
That's a good line.
I love that we also got the punk frogs in the background riding the roller coaster. We got to hear the "We're gonna die" line right as we finished there. All right, on into what I would generally say is the second half of the game. It's one of the only levels where you can hold a direction as you drop in to decide where on the stage you start, which lets you start just a little bit closer to the first roadkill Rodney here. Those bikers are one of the few sets of enemies in the game you actually don't have to interact with or defeat in order to move on. They are completely optional. But then, what would a beat 'em up game be if you aren't beating him up? I guess a walking simulator, right?
I guess so.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get so philosophical on you.
No, that's okay. We can question the nature of games here on the GDQ
Don's
Hotfix
just going to
show.
sit against the wall and have a think for a minute.
By the way, I just want to note, first of all, I don't think anybody's completely sure about what kind of turtles the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are, but they seem to be most similar to spiny softshell turtles. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I believe I've heard such things before. Although, once you're mutated into a humanoid state, does what type of turtle you were before then matter as much? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think we'd have to talk to the taxonomists about, speciesization and all that stuff. See what they think.
True. Species do evolve over time with, habituation and other things that happen to them. The dogs of today are the wolves of yesterday, are the something else of tomorrow.
And the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles of the 80s are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles of today.
I mean, yes and no. You've seen
Yes
that
and no.
some of the designs are kind of different. Like these designs here are a not insubstantial amount different from those of the movies, for instance.
That's true. Series has changed quite a bit.
Yeah, most people who only know the characters from the cartoons or like see the big foam suits from the movies and are like, wait, what? And meanwhile, people who grew up with the movies are like, no, that's what they always look like. What do you mean? Back in, doing a little bit of taking inventory here. Was hoping to stay stuck up against the stock shelf the whole time because that's the quickest way to make sure that you scoop all those up as they come onto screen.
Got good facts in chat, by the way. Just want to call out some of that. So chat, keep with the fun facts about crocs, turtles, whoever. We've got crocodiles are older than dinosaurs, the Atlantic Ocean, and most flowering plants, which is true.
Yes.
Been around a long time. And have changed very little in that time as well.
Yeah. There are a handful of species that just like their selective adaptations were so successful that they haven't had to change much.
Yep. Pretty cool.
The same cannot be said for us, which is part of why we respect creatures so much, especially around here.
That's true. I mean, the really interesting thing about humans, and I know we shouldn't talk about humans too much for this show.
Right,
It's not about them.
You can talk about humans as a treat, just a little bit.
That's a treat. Okay, we can have a little human talk. Is that the vast majority of human history is unrecorded. Only about
True.
3% of human history is recorded in any way, shape, or form. So we have actually changed way more than we kind of consciously know. But not nearly as much as someone, a species like the crocodile that's been around way longer. Now, you might think that crocs and turtles are kind of similar, and there's some things that sort of are similar about them, but one thing that's not as much is that amphibians are having amphibians and other types of smaller water creatures are having a harder time adapting to climate change and the ways that we are changing the world's waterways. So definitely show them some love for all the conservationist programs and all of the ways that people are trying to help their populations.
Yeah, as a former resident of Florida, I had a good opportunity to see a lot of reptiles growing up and gain a healthy respect for them. So I'm always happy to see people out there doing the good word for the likes of all sorts of creatures, gators and crocs, snakes, lizards.
Yeah, if you're a reptiles fan, definitely sound off in the comments. And yeah, help protect the turtles because freshwater turtles are having a rough go of it right now.
If you're a fan of history, why not head to the museum like we're doing now?
Oh, very nice. More learning to do. Or more beating up enemies to do.
A little bit of both.
Good. Yeah. Healthy
got
mix. Oh, the dino man.
Oh, I should help me out, chat here. I'm usually the first person to tell you, now it's this species from this series. I am totally blanking on the name right now. I can remember the name of the general that we're going to fight in a few stages, but that doesn't help so much right now.
I mean, they seem to be based off of Triceratopses. But that's all I got.
Yeah, they got 10 HP, and they also suffer the same kind of knockdown under certain kinds of hits. So dealing with them quickly and efficiently often involves a decent amount of juggling.
And that's true of Triceratops as well.
Triceratons, thank you.
Triceratons.
Yes, the name of the species is the Triceratons.
Ah, yes. True of
the green ones here always
well.
deploy their shields. The orange ones have very aggressive dives that if you jump into a Triceraton, because they have bladed weaponry right on their forehead, they can do basically a 0-frame attack against you and will immediately counter your dive or your jump.
I like this space that we're in the museum that just seems to have a bunch of artifacts cluttered around.
Yeah, it's pretty big for a storage space, huh?
Yeah. No organization.
I'm not sure where a museum got this kind of budget from to have this much space. Could you try to keep relatively close to Triceratons because they do have a propensity to charge at us, especially the orange ones if we're too far away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thankfully that's why I kept that sign up for those two to be rushing in from the left. The stage hazards, as previously mentioned, can do about as much damage as you can under most circumstances. We're going to specifically not take the power up on this stage because we do want it for the boss if we can help it.
So what's the deal with this thing?
It gives you unlimited supers for 10 seconds.
Exciting.
Yeah, the other version is the one that makes you spin around repeatedly, which does 1 damage each time you hit something. But yeah, we're going to take this version on into our boss fight, and hopefully that'll let us do most of Captain Zorax's damage health here without too much trouble.
Yeah, Captain Zorax does not stand a chance.
There we go. Even with the accidental slide in there. Thankfully, because that attack is 1 hit that does the full damage every time, even if I knocked him down, I didn't have too much to worry about.
It won't fly.
A nice fact in chat about how the Triceratons are actually from Eastman and Laird's work before TMNT. And they are, as many of the strange-looking creatures in the TMNT universe, they are aliens, not dinosaurs.
Oh, I see. Convergent evolution? Or just
Something like that, yeah.
Who knows?
Oh, I'm gonna get chomped. Yeah, I didn't realize he was still there, so I went right into the taunt. I'm like, yeah, no, that's fine. I got time for this. I did not.
Well, it would have been faster to avoid it, but I am very happy I got to see that animation. Very funny.
Oh, yeah, there's lots of great little touches like that.
In chat, what killed the dinosaurs? Infinite supers. Who knew?
It doesn't help, yeah. They really... it thinned their numbers to a perhaps unsustainable degree.
You gotta have some amount of genetic diversity.
And some amount of limitation to your supers, because otherwise you're just turning the speedrun into mashing the super button all the time, and that's a lot less fun.
What led to the Anthropocene?
Right. Mind the spinning blades. You can knock enemies into them.
Already answering my question.
But it's much more like, one, it's relatively difficult to change an enemy's horizontal line, like without them wanting to have that happen. And two, you have much better and faster options. Okay, sorry, I heard that tink noise and I thought it was that barrel exploding. It was the barrel on the next screen exploding, of course.
But of course. Anyone could have expected that.
Thankfully, you can avoid being frozen by simply not getting in the way of the freeze rays. Awfully kind of them to give you that option.
Are they in, like, Edna's suit showing chamber back there?
Yeah, they're getting dressed for like what kind of Foot Clan soldier they're going to be. You know, everything around here is based on how you're outfitted. I don't know what kind the cyan and what would you call that shade of red?
Cherry?
Yeah,
Pretty close, I think.
Yes, I don't know what rank they are or what job they have, but they were just being commissioned there, essentially.
I see. Dress for the job you want, and sometimes that'll actually do it if you're in a video game.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, the Foot Clan is kind of like the outfit version of nominative determinism. Your job will, in fact, be determined by the outfit you are given, and the outfit is given to you. I suppose it's a bit more like a feudal society.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Who let us be on broadcast? This is great.
Well, they haven't changed their minds yet, so I suppose we better keep going.
That's true. That's true. We only have what, like, oh my gosh, not that long to go. This has really flown by.
Speaking of flying, it's a big bug. We're a fly of science.
Who'd have thunk?
Well, he was a scientist before he mutated himself, and that's the way of things. You know, Jeff Goldblum vibes.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if he was being experimented on first, because Drosophila, of course, are one of the most common model organisms in research. I worked with them for my thesis. It was interesting.
There we go. I'm surprised he stood out there as long as he did. He was basically, once he gets into the place of summoning the Mousers, he'll go back into his control chair and be untargetable for another 20 or so seconds. So I'm glad that he hung out and let us whack him. I'm less happy that Krang is now fully built and will also need to be fought. Sorry, you were saying about Drosophila.
No. I'm glad that went smoothly. Drosophila are just interesting.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it. All right, the Technodrome, the final stage of a number of Turtles games. Not this one, but This is definitely where the game starts stepping it up. We now have to deal with the Granite Grunts, another alien race of rock monsters. They have the same 10 damage that all of the, or 10 health that all of the more aggressive enemies tend to do. And when they are running, they have infinite super armor. So they're going to keep running until they hit something or like hit a wall or you defeat them. So in their case, it's often more about playing around them than playing directly into them.
Makes sense. I mean, hitting rocks directly does sound a little bit perilous.
Yes, even with a big stick, I wouldn't recommend it so much unless your arms can handle the recoil.
Yeah, not so good. But like, I wonder if these things are at all related to the Grignac monster that existed in Galaxy Quest, because that's immediately what the like tan ones reminded me of.
Yeah, I could see them like you're going back to like Never-Ending Journey and similar things as far as original inspiration, but yes, I could see them all pulling from the same place. Yeah.
No, that also makes sense. These are also very like labyrinth.
Yeah. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. If you're, old and chat, sign off on what you think these are related to.
Hey, now.
I'm making fun of myself, too.
Yes, I suppose it's all relative.
Exactly.
Maybe chat can tell us who they think these rock monsters' relatives are.
Who are their cousins, their aunts, their uncles? Anything. Yeah, whatever they are, they're dangerous.
A little bit. For a screen, I didn't explicitly practice. That actually went pretty decently.
Nice.
That was like literally all enemies that could jump away or have to be hit in certain ways before they can be damaged. And the fact that I didn't get into a spitting match with any of them. Well, the ceiling tiles did me a favor there with one of the two ninja.
Calling out the game there for that skeleton animation when you got zapped, not including the turtle shell.
True.
If you want to learn something interesting, look up turtle skeletons. Go look at some images.
It was just, I don't remember what the context was, but somebody sent me a picture of showing the beak of the toucan next to the size of the rest of the skeleton.
Yes.
It's kind of comical.
It sure is, but those beaks are nice and hollow, so it doesn't take up a whole lot of the body weight. Very nice for temperature regulation, actually, which is the main reason why a lot of beaks and horns on a lot of species are the size and shape that they are. The leading theory for why giraffes have horns, it has to do with temperature regulation, for example.
Huh. I don't think I knew that.
We don't actually know for sure why they have them, besides temperature regulation and some social purposes. But that's the leading theory as to why they were originally evolved.
Oh, I thought I had the super without having to taunt for it.
You got this.
Oh yeah, I'm not worried about surviving or not, but I was hoping to do it significantly faster than that.
That is part of the goal of the speedrun. I'll give you that.
But yeah, I'll be honest, I don't speedrun a whole lot, especially these days. Like, I love, the thing I always tell people is if you want to hang out with me, you should volunteer for speedrunning events because that's more likely where you'll find me. But I do love the kind of meditative aspects of speedrunning. I don't speedrun something unless I can play it, have it go disastrously wrong, be super angry at it, and be ready to go again 5 minutes later. That's how I know the game is right for me.
That's a good sort of encapsulation of how speedrunning is. If you, by the way, in chat, are a person who is interested in speedrunning but hasn't actually picked up a game, just pick one up.
Definitely.
You'll find something you like eventually.
Yeah, people make suggestions like, oh, play a game from your childhood, which can help towards the, I'm not tired of it sort of thing. But genuinely just, give something a try. There is no better way to get started than by taking the first step.
And that was a hotfix show back in the day.
It's true.
Bringing it back. Shout out Statif. But yeah, no, and definitely do volunteer also. Volunteering for speedrunning events, especially, you know, of course, GDQ events. We have volunteering open for a bunch of events throughout the year. It's very cool.
This is not Shredder, although the look is definitely inspired. This is Chrome Dome. He's minding the Technodrome while Shredder is away.
Ah, little babysitter.
We also,
That's
if you
nice.
hadn't used the Mode 7 at all before now, you have to use it for this one. That's the only way you can make him vulnerable to bring him back down to do damage. Now our goal in between phases here is to build back up the super meter. All right, I'll take a 2 cycle.
Pogo sticking Donatello is another emote I want.
Understandable.
Very much.
I think one of the
I don't know what
first,
situations I'd use it in, but sounds
one of
good.
the first emotes I ever put on my Twitch channel was April O'Neil doing the mic drop, which is her taunt animation.
Oh, that's awesome. It's a really good idea. So we're dodging asteroids? Why is that happening?
Yep. We're in Outworld, some sort of alternate universe.
How it goes.
Yep. This is technically not a full auto-scroller in that the auto-scrolling section ends here.
Ah,
There are 1 or 2 more new enemy types left to meet, and that'll, at least one of them will happen in this stage. I think it might just be the one. Yeah, now instead of like fire hydrants, we have weird alien plants that spit things out. But the general principle is the same as far as using stage hazards to your advantage.
but it's like 100% more creature.
True.
Plants are creatures, by the way. Just a FYI for chat. At least in my mind.
Speaking of creatures, these are pizza monsters. Yes, they're
Oh, look
made
at
of
that.
pizza.
I
think
see
about
why
it
we
too
might
much.
have shied away from pizza in the earlier part of the game. Prophetic.
Yes, one of the benefits to having a sped up taunt across multiple characters is that it's now much more reliable to taunt on screens like that one in between the different waves. Not where I meant to use this. This is supposed to get us through the next screen, but it's not a super hard screen. Case in point. Yeah, there we go. Getting a little bit more comfortable with handling the granite grunts. Not letting them hit the ground is kind of the ideal. Because as soon as something hits the ground and fully settles, you can't hit it until it gets up again. So at any point, if that hasn't happened, you can either like slide in or you can do another flying attack and put on a couple more damage, especially with enemies like the grunts who have big bodies, so they have a larger hitbox until they've settled.
A lot of stakes. Something happened here. I wonder. I wonder.
Going to do an Indiana Jones and remove the golden idol.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you know, when you're making a game based around something from the 80s, you just gotta go full on with the, speaking of the name of the developers, you gotta make it a full tribute.
Exactly. Go all in.
Yeah, the laser shooters are not actual enemies that you need to defeat to progress, but they will do damage and knock you down if you give them the chance. Take a quick taunt before going into our next boss.
From Dimension X.
Yeah, this is the general area that we are in is part of Dimension X. So, you know, he's from around the neighborhood.
Is this kind of part of the Turtles general lore that aliens are kind of involved?
If you watch through to the later seasons of the series, or you've read the comics or other things that are, you know, tend to go more outside the default, absolutely.
I've not been as well acquainted with the series as I would like
even
to be.
by like seasons 3 and 4 of the 80s animated series. Out of I think 7 total seasons, they were doing outer space, intergalactic. Like when in the 80s games, when you go to the final level, the Technodrome is in Dimension X, so you have to figure out how to get over there first.
Very nice. More you know. That does make sense, honestly, with the general vibes.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to have, like, mutated creatures, and technically, if you want to give more fun comics background, the TMNT were mutated in the same accident that created the Marvel hero Daredevil.
Oh, wow. That's a really cool piece of trivia.
I think it's technically like an Eastman and Laird touch. I don't know if it stays as part of overall continuity, but when the TMNT's accident is depicted, or the ooze canister that goes into the subway, or into the sewers rather, it's you see a little boy clutching his eyes, and it's supposed to be the other side of the same scene that created Daredevil.
Oh, fascinating.
That was definitely just Eastman and Laird like paying tribute to the comics they grew up with, but it's a really cool touch.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, no, it's cool to sort of bring your canon into that. I respect it.
There we go.
Nice.
Not a particularly smooth opening to that screen, but I was able to get the cadence of the jumps in time with each other. Nope, not those though. Let's see if I can. Yeah, thankfully they can't do that jump 2 times in a row, so if you hit them as soon as they touch the ground after they jump away, the second hit will land. We'll let those guys take some damage. Because they have infinite super armor, they can just kind of stay on those spikes, and they can do a good amount of work for you if you happen to have a granite grunt sticking around on some spikes.
I didn't think spikes beat rock, but now I know.
I give it enough time, erosion, all that sort of stuff.
That's true. That's true. Or, you know, like kind of like jackhammer-esque tools.
Right, maybe a Mohs hardness scale sort of thing.
Exactly.
Sufficiently sharp spike. I'm not supposed to come up here yet. Well, we'll make it work.
I do like seeing all of the improv that is required to go fast in this game. Has been very fun to watch.
Yeah, well, doubly so when you're focusing on comms and realize, oh wait, I've gone like half a screen too far while describing something. What do I do now?
I know, I
imagine that happens in a variety of speedruns.
I would imagine so, yeah. Commentating and talking in general while playing a video game is already difficult, even if you're doing so casually. Doing, you know, a speedrun, especially one that requires precise timings, you know, figuring out where your location is, and improv all at the same time, very difficult.
Oh, that was too early. Well, they fully set up the firing range on us now, so I suppose I'd better get down there and fix that.
Yeah. Actually,
yeah, no, the funny thing is those that second granite grunt that runs in is supposed to do from the right-hand side of the screen by default, but because I was too close to the right-hand side of the screen, he ran from the left instead, and that really threw me off.
I see. Yeah, knowing where you have to be, definitely.
Yep, but you can't get there too early because that causes its own problems.
Yup. All about timing. Wow. That was satisfying.
We're carrying this, much like the infinite pizza from earlier, we are carrying this into this fight with Krang, the brain and his body together. So this will help us through the most of this fight in all likelihood.
Down with Krang.
Yeah, as another character with lots of iframes. Unfortunately, that means when we keep doing damage constantly, he keeps taking damage constantly.
Works against him. That was very clean.
A little bit.
No.
It was a ruse. We've been had.
The diversion. Tragic.
But of course, who else could it be?
Of course.
The last fully voiced track in the game done by members of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, wow. That's some trivia there for you.
Oop, not when I should have done that.
Also, big shout out to voice acting in this game as well. All the voice acting has been really good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, the voice actors had a ton of fun. One voice actor, Sean Guernsey, I have had the great fortune of actually having accompany me as commentary on several speedruns of this that I've done.
That's so cool.
He's the voice of like so many different characters, half the bosses, Splinter, a number of other characters. Yeah.
Y'all should probably go check out a T-Tree and their other speedruns as well. Want to see cool stuff like that.
I mean, like I'm saying, volunteer for speedrun marathons. That's where you're going to find me.
That.
Head over to PAX East in March. I'm going to be there. I would love to hang out with you, especially if you decide to submit, which is open until tomorrow night. So get your submissions in.
GDQ.gg/submit for that, and PAX East itself is from March 26th to March 29th. So submit your speedruns.
This is actually one of the fights that's changed the most. They made it so that the Statue of Tyranny hangs back just enough that a variety of your super moves do not work when it's in certain configurations like they used to. So we have to be a little bit more patient here. Yeah, like when it's back here, nothing I can do.
Now, I would ask why this is happening, but I think I know better by now.
You ever see Ghostbusters 2? Same idea.
Ah, gotcha.
You haven't seen Ghostbusters 2? You could watch Ghostbusters 2. It's not the worst way to spend an afternoon. Not as good as the first one, but I don't think that's a very controversial opinion.
No, I don't think so.
Unforced error of accidentally pausing the game. But that's fine. We've just got one more boss fight to go.
Let us see the
now it's actually Big Apple 3 a.m.
Yay!
And so Shredder sees what Mutagen did for the turtles and says, I want that for me. It is time to fight the Super Shredder, famously portrayed by Kevin Nash in the 1990 film. Another fight like Chrome Dome where you can only damage him when he lets you. So we're just going to hang out for a little bit. Wait for the overload. This is also a boss that's changed a lot over the course of runs of this game. He's become less predictable, which is ultimately better in terms of like the casual experience. Even if it gives you a lot less opportunities to taunt in between phases. The fact that he moves faster and less predictable is also kind of balanced out by the fact that he tends to taunt more often than he used to. So, good with the bad. or rather, he tends to become vulnerable more often than he used to. I think I was thinking about my opportunity to taunt and accidentally said taunt instead.
Imagine if every video game was like a countered by another person playing a video game. No, he's following me.
What would the counter to your speedruns be, Satan? What would the counter game to your oeuvre, to all the PopCap games?
There are modes in Plants vs. Zombies where you play as the zombies. So
that's true.
We already got that covered.
To say nothing of like Garden Warfare.
True.
Oh, one health left. All right, time will come up as soon as this last hit point is gone.
You got this.
That's what I get for diving too early. It took me right into here. We'll go ahead and give ourselves a taunt first. It'll be funny. Okay, no, that's longer than I thought it was. Never mind.
Well,
that's what I get for hot dogging.
Funny.
Granted, clip that. Absolutely instant replay at time.
GG.
I deserve that.
You know what? Underestimate.
Yep, we take those. That's why I said a generous estimate. This was basically like derusting with knowing that I had to have 5 different characters relatively ready. So thank you so much for having me, Satan. This is a ton of fun. I don't stream very often, but you can follow twitch.tv/ateachery anyways. I might be there someday again soon. And in the meantime, just head over to events, volunteer with the likes of fast-paced events, with games done quick, with PopCap for charity, all sorts of things. And you'll see us around. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you. This was a lovely little showcase for, of course, my show night partner. Please do watch also a Teachery on Out of the Box, which happens right before this show every other Wednesday. And happy early birthday once again. Thank you for...
Thanks very much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for showing TMNT for the first time on Creature Corner, by the way. It's one of the series that I have been very excited to show for a really long time. So, wonderful debut for the Turtles. I'm sure there will be more in the future. And speaking of more in the future, please stick around through the break because... Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Creature Corner, the GDQ Hotfix show about non-human player characters or protagonists. And we have an interesting one coming up because I'm sure y'all don't think necessarily SpongeBob when you think creatures, but, you know, that's what we've got coming up today. I hope you'll agree with me that SpongeBob is not a human, and in fact, it's kind of a play on words because, well, sea sponges are a real creature. We'll learn a little bit about that today, and of course, we'll learn about Nicktoons' Attack of the Toybots, SpongeBob Only, which is a really fun sort of community-made category for this game by Crow3893. So go on ahead and have fun.
Thank you, Satan. Very first time I've ever heard those words have come out of my mouth in a sentence, but yep, thank you. Alrighty. Hello, everyone. My name's Crow3893. 3893 if you're actually normal, but we're creatures today, so there's that.
True.
But yeah, this is Nicktoons' Attack of the Toybots, SpongeBob Only. I'm not here alone. I'm joined in with a good friend of mine who will be helping me out with this, so if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? I'm Jaxler. I run another Nicktoons game in the past called Nicktoons Unite, which is a much worse game than this game. There's some carryover in certain tech and strats, a little bit, maybe, kind of.
In some way, shape, or form, yeah. But yeah, so this category isn't essentially like, it's not like any percent or like an all collectibles, all 100% type category. This is a very interesting one called SpongeBob Only, where our main goal is to try and complete the game as playing nobody else but SpongeBob. And it's very interesting in this game specifically because in this game, you have to play as many different types of Nicktoons characters in order to be able to progress onwards into the story. But luckily, with these type of glitches and tricks we're going to be doing throughout the run, is entirely in a viable way to now complete the game as just the sea sponge himself. So it is definitely it's like a little nice challenge idea come up with. Not for this game originally. It originally came up as the idea of a category for the previous game, Nicktoons Battle for Volcano Island, because that one was more of SpongeBob was in every level, so you could just do that easily. But this one is more in terms of being able to still showcase how you can complete the game way different than the developers intended, and being glitchy, but still being able to play as just one character entirely. which is the main premise. But unfortunately with that, it does make the category like one of the hardest ones. So there is a little bit of focus spots here and there, as well as just like some skips that normally aren't done that you would expect in like an any percent run of this game compared to like this one, because it's like a 20-minute difference. But we'll just go ahead and show them off in the meantime. So time doesn't start here. There's going to be an auto-saving segment, but I will give a countdown from 5 and we can start time on go. But let's just get this started. And definitely look forward to like the next 4 minutes. So that's going to be a ride. All right, here we go.
Fast start.
In 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, Jackson, can you take this over for me while I focus on this level?
Yeah, absolutely. So Attack of the Toybots, it's kind of this like 2.5D/3D sort of like platformer. It's also got like a co-op mode to it. We start the game as SpongeBob here. One thing we're going to see right off the bat, which is the main movement tech of the run, is something called roll cancel jumps. We're using this crouch roll all over the place. And so what you can actually do is crouch roll off of a ledge. And if you let go of the direction on like the Wii nunchuck, for example, as you're like rolling off the ledge, you can actually carry the momentum from the roll into your 2 jumps. And so that's called a roll cancel jump. And it gives us way more speed than we're supposed to be able to have. So we're going to be using it all over the place. In instances where we can't roll off of a ledge, we're just going to cancel rolls into rolls instead. And that's kind of what makes this game so kind of fun to watch and also run, is like this roll cancel jump tech. There's a lot of really creative stuff you can do with it. And a lot of the glitches that we'll be seeing later kind of use this as sort of a building block to move forward here. So in order to beat this game, there are these things called master models that you need to unlock. We need 9 of them by the end of the run. That's our goal. In order to just kind of do the normal progression. We're going to do a throw clip right there. So we actually pick up at like an enemy right there and sort of wedge ourselves in. It disrupts like the normal size of the hitbox and lets us just kind of skip a little bit of that section right there. That was really good.
Yeah, something that should be mentioned along with the throw clip, that is actually a gimmick or mechanic in the game that has never been mentioned at all, and has just been like hiding in the game for years until it was discovered like a year and a half ago when I accidentally pressed the C button on my nunchuck. But your eyes were not lying when you saw it. It actually did cause SpongeBob to T-pose every time it was jumping. So yeah, like that is like some crazy lore to add to this game, is that you can easily T-pose.
All right, so we're coming up on kind of a cool strat here. So right there, we're standing on top of that metal can in order to prevent an enemy from walking onto us, just because we have to wait for a platform cycle here. And this is going to be the first deload strat we're going to see. So what Crow's going to do is use a roll cancel jump to take a couple of quick shortcuts, and then eventually use it to reach a bit of collision that's technically out of bounds. And once we reach this piece of collision, what's going to happen is Crow is essentially going to kind of backtrack a little bit into a previous spot in the level. So we're on kind of that invisible geometry, and we're going to go backwards and then return the way we came. By using this out of bounds ledge, it's actually going to cause the next section to deload, and certain like parts of this next section are not going to load in properly. And so, for example, this is nicely done.
Hey, cutscene skip. Oh wait, no, dang it, I missed it.
Almost.
Cutscene skip.
So the way that what's supposed to happen, and again, this is a SpongeBob only run, you're supposed to swap to another character named Gur to be able to access this section to get this master model. But by doing the deload, we actually like deloaded the collision for the pipe that blocks you from going through unless you're the correct character. But not only do you have to do that deload, you also have to nail the jump because the visual for it, where you need to land in the trigger, isn't there either. So Crow made that look really, really easy. It happens really, really fast, but that was excellently done. That's a really hard strat.
It was pretty clean, aside from that cutscene skip, which only saved like 2 seconds, but yeah, it's still like a funny, cool strat to go. It does use another trick that we have that we do prioritize, called goose stalling, which is like, you can see like the green stuff right here. It's not snot or anything. I swear this is not a reference to the Suds episode, but
it's Nickelodeon slime, maybe.
Yes, yep. Well, essentially, it's just referred to as goo in the game, so who even knows? But yeah, we still like to refer to it as a slime.
All right, and so this is going to be our first master model. So something we'll do here as well at the end of each master model is kind of slip underneath and into the tube. You're supposed to jump into the tube, but you can kind of just fall into it from the side, and it hits the loading zone. So you're good to go. And then we've got another. We're going to be grabbing another. Again, we need 9 master models in order to sort of do what we need to do for any percent progression. And it's kind of interesting too because like this run, because we can only play as SpongeBob, it kind of forces us to take a bit of a different route. Because there's like wrong warping and stuff that you can do in like the main any percent category that you can't really use as effectively in something like this. So we'll be in a second see something called an any character skip or an any character master model entrance where there's kind of like for most tunnels like a universal tech that we can use to access master model levels. Basically the master model sections are like these kind of like side areas that you need to complete. And so here we go. So we're using like the air hover that you normally like. You kind of hold down this button to get like sucked up into the tube, but there's enough collision around the outside of the pipe that we can actually hit the trigger for getting sucked up through the pipe through like the outside of the pipe. The pipe, like the trigger for it is actually bigger than the pipe's like radius, for lack of a better term. So that's called an any character skip. That's going to be the main method of getting to a lot of these master models. The reason why like so many of these strats are important, again, we're not allowed to change character. And so a lot of these master model sections, again, you're supposed to swap characters. So in like a casual sense, like you're not supposed to be able to even beat the game as just SpongeBob. But with these strats, you can, and it's pretty sick. There's going to be one SpongeBob master model we'll be getting, so we don't need to do some nonsense like that. But for pretty much the rest of them, we're going to be needing to do some tomfoolery, which I think is pretty rad. Also, goodbye, Tag. Something I love about the master model sections as well is like you have to ground pound 2 switches, and it's a 2-player co-op game as well. But if you don't have a second player, it's just controlled by like a AI type of thing. And so the AI just like gets spawned right next to you, so you just ground pound your like helpless AI friend into oblivion, and it just cracks me up every time.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. And then like you could just hear them like they make like a sound because like for some reason like the ground pound radius is like still close to them, so they always just get knocked back every single time. It's kind of funny. So yeah, as mentioned as well, like what Jaxter said with like the any character skip method. So then the method that we actually did for the Jenny one is a little bit different compared to the ones you're gonna actually see, is because like Jenny's, like as mentioned, like how it works was how like normally it's supposed to be like a barrier or something preventing you from going up. The developers kind of like were able to stop it, like prevent it in some of the master models, just not all of them. So they didn't really do their job correctly. But before I explain that more, I just want to do this cool little jump right here. So this is a little funny strat. There we go.
Oh.
Yeah, so the trigger's just there. Because it's a tube that goes up and to the right. Oh. If you just go far enough to the right, it's like...
I mean, you took the tube.
You took the tube.
You just took the tube, so it counts, and it's just one of the funniest things. It doesn't save time, but it's just a funny swag strat. It's just so hilarious to get. But yeah, basically as mentioning with the any character skip method, so it only works on selected master models because some of them have some of their invisible like walls that normally prevent you from going upwards are larger. Which, for example, with Jenny's, like hers was very large, so because of that, we were able to stand on like another invisible platform to be able to like have it as an alternative way. But with Patrick's, for example, we're able to actually do the full any character skip method right here. There we go, second try. And then see if I can prevent a load-in. Okay, I don't think I got the load-in. Nope. Okay, we're going to play it safe. So yeah, again, that master model is normally intended for Patrick, but by just doing the any character skip, we're able to just jump in. And what's actually kind of cool is that it spawns you at the very high point of the pipe specifically. So because of that, it also puts you at enough height where you can actually jump on like some of the wall like barriers, which are like slightly like pushed outwards, and are registered as enough as a flooring, so you can also be able to do a roll cancel when rolling off of it. And because of that, it skips not only just like the bottom area, but also a cutscene as well. So that saves like at most 8 to 9 seconds if you're able to get it first try. But still, getting it second try still saves like a decent bit of time, and as well, like again as mentioned, makes it way easier to collect another master model without having to switch as like any other character aside from SpongeBob, which is definitely one of the cool parts and why I like the category the most. Is just like still being able to do like some of the cool skips, but at the same time, like other ones that are just exclusive to this category or just make it look very interesting as well. What's also interesting as well, you've been seeing is the Master Model Chamber, which is the area I'm in. Also, yeah, goodbye attack again for like the third time now.
See attack.
But basically, the Master Model Chambers are like additional like areas where you have to complete like a combat section in order to like unlock the Master Model. And all of the Master Model Chambers vary with enemies that you're going to be seeing. So you've been seeing like the toy blocks. Those are called blocks. Great character name. Shout out to whoever made that in the development team. Good job on them, gold star. And then you also got some Mr. Huggles. So the blocks are actually, and I can say this within my full heart, they are the worst enemies in this game because they can stun lock you, they deal massive amounts of damage, and they take a lot of hits to KO compared to like the Mr. Huggles entirely. But luckily, we're not going to be dealing with the blocks, like at least after this last Master Model, we're going to be dealing with like some other enemies which are way easier. But yeah, the rest of this point is just more of just continuing onwards because we're not going to really be collecting any more Master Models at this point. Well, at least for like another like couple or so seconds. But what's basically been happening, and like you've been seeing, like we've been going throughout like different areas of the game. So we were in previously Factory Zone 1, and we're back in Factory Zone 1, even though we were like in Bikini Bottom like 7 or so minutes ago. But basically what happened was that like SpongeBob was okay.
Wow, you just got robbed.
And
oh my goodness.
And then,
that was awesome.
Yeah, that was still kind of funny. Actually, but can I see? Okay, I tried going for the cutscene skip, but it's kind of a bit. It's way tougher on this one because it's more precise. And then I'm gonna do another editing character skip method right here. Let's see. Also, I got the bugged out SpongeBob animation. There's a random chance where like if you jump at like a certain point or like if you jump at any point during like a cutscene, the characters like animations bug out for a second and they don't like fully like animate themselves more. So like when you can see like SpongeBob doing like a spin during his double jump, he'll do like a semi-spin when like his animation is like completely bugged out, and even like when he does a roll, it's not like an entire full roll. It's definitely a funny buggy mess with the game, and that's what just also makes it enjoyable at the end of the day. Also, this is supposed to be a very hard segment, and like because it's mostly required about the trampoline, but also try not to get hit by any of these spikes, because anytime you get hit by something that isn't an enemy, you will automatically like get die and get respawned by like the latest checkpoint like area that like the game will last like reset you essentially. So I had to play it safe right there, but also from those gears that were jumping, like were going down and then going back up. Because if I were to roll and then jump as soon as I was underneath one, my rolls will be like the momentum from the roll will still be carried on, and then there would be a random chance of activating or like entering into the pipe, completing the level, even though I died, which would essentially cause a soft lock. And at this point, would have been a run killer because normally, like when you would die in this game, or like at many points in this game, it's very favorable. It gives you a lot of checkpoints, but I actually did disable the auto saving, which you may have saw earlier after Bikini Bottom. I tried to purchase a costume, which I did not have enough circuits for, which circuits are the main currency. And causing that actually lets you, for some reason, disable autosave with this game. At least for the Wii version, it just disables autosave by not purchasing a costume. We don't know why it happens, but at the end of the day, it saves it's like a free 35 to 40 seconds for this category. So it's worth it at the end of the day for that. The only thing is just that like messing up at any point in the beginning before unlocking the basement, which is your main hub world checkpoint, is an automatic run killer. So it definitely is like something to keep in mind as well. Also, you just collect, and then sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I was just gonna say the Nicktoons like series of games, at least from this era, are pretty notorious for having like bad loads. I mean, that's part of the reason Crow's actually running this. It's a Wii game, but they're playing on Wii U, just for like the performance and loading speed boost.
But yeah, we basically just completed the rest of Zone 1. We were like somewhat introduced to another character. He's actually the reason why we're collecting Master Models in the first place. You didn't see him in the cutscene. You ended up just seeing Professor Calamitous, cursed as always, even in this normal 3 model from the Jimmy Neutron series. But yeah. But basically, we meet up with another character named the Chadbot, who we will be seeing at the end of the run. But basically, he's the one that like will offer to help us out when it comes to like stopping Professor Calamitous, because the main premise of this game is having to stop Professor Calamitous from becoming the biggest genius, and that's kind of why all the Nicktoons characters are like all teaming up together in this situation, is because Professor Calamitous has essentially kidnapped like many of them. And that's also why like some of them are Master Models that we are also collecting. Also, here's another ACS right here. First try, as simple as that. It's one of the easiest ones to do, surprisingly. But like basically, it's also like the fastest Master Model as well in the entire game. That was only like 8 seconds right there. Yeah. But basically, Let's see, what was I going to say again? Oh yeah, it was about like the chatbot. So basically, the chatbot offered to help us out with like stopping Professor Calamitous, but this is where like it comes to the point of the game where we need a certain amount of master models in order to progress onwards with the level. It's kind of like how if you were to play like the SpongeBob SquarePants movie and needed a specific amount of the Goofy Goober tokens in order to like progress onwards and getting the power ups and everything like that. It plays exactly like that in this behavior, but the only difference is just that we need to do these actual sections, which again are required with like many different types of characters, but we're just breezing on easily as SpongeBob, and it's just making it so much easier. And then we also have like cool little references of other Nicktoons characters who are not playable, but are still like showcased. So as you saw, like Tuesday X, Mr. Blick, Aang, and then also Cat Dog as well. So like just like the little niche references of Nicktoons from like when it first aired up to like the mid 2000s, which is like a really nice gesture when it comes to this game. Is just the many types of references. There are still more references that will be showcased in a little bit. All right, cool. So did a cutscene skip right there, and then hopefully not get the random chance of death. All right, cool. We didn't get it. And I'm gonna do like a jump right here to save a little bit of time on movement, and then this section, I don't know what this specifically is supposed to be, but it's just essentially paint in some way. It's just the paint of the kill.
Like paint or grease or something. Basically, we're going through a bunch of factories because like Dr. Calamitous is like manufacturing a bunch of like these robot toys or the Toybots that are based on the Nicktoons characters. Something we're gonna see right here is actually conserving speed off of a slide. That's something that you can do in a couple different spots, and it lets you do a bunch of cool stuff. But unfortunately, took a death there, so we're gonna. Oh no, that's so cool that we're gonna see it again.
Yeah, we're gonna see the. Cool
actually, the death
twice.
is intentional. It's actually.
Oh right, for the deload. Right.
Oh, I felt. Oh dang it. Okay, hold on, wait. Okay, good. I can back it up. Okay, I got the checkpoint, thankfully. It's just because like it's. We'll explain it a little bit. It's just like a little bit precise right here. All right, I'm gonna do a roll cancel for safety. All right, cool. So yeah, there's just a bunch of invisible like platforms right here, and we can do that by just entering into Stimpy's master model without him. Again, like it's just so strange how like there's so many of these like invisible collision areas all around. But that skip is intentional. Like originally was found as a battle skip because before that section that I was walking on like air. There was supposed to be like a two-phase battle section that you had to defeat a bunch of the enemies, which loses a lot of time and like takes up so much because of RNG. So the battle skip does that. But the problem though is that if you actually enter it the first time, you automatically get into the cutscene, which puts you back in the stationary ground. But because we didn't hit any checkpoints, we were able to get respawned back upwards. So because of that, we were able to do the skip again, which was able to skip the fight again, but also letting us still stay on top, which is able to let us do a roll cancel, jump up like above like a little area of like that would have like dropped us down to the floor, and it would have basically we could just like walk around like an entire like area of just nothing but invisible platforms on top, and then just freely like roll our way over to Stimpy's master model and just enter in there. And then from there, just being able to do it in its entirely like unloaded mess. That's not the level itself may look like very like buggy entirely. That's just because we didn't do it as Stimpy. It has like a full on like design and everything, but because we did the skip, it refused to like load up entirely, which was still like it's just still kind of funny. But it's also like one of those instances where if you do a skip, you have to memorize like where certain things are because there definitely is like some points where it has to involve with like memory of like knowing like not to get hit by like a gear, which would push you down and kill you because you still like luckily you still like die, which luckily like won't cause you to like get soft locked if you like continuously started falling in the air, which is something we will explain in a little bit as well. But for right now, we have this little combat section, but there's gonna be a cool skip coming up soon, so I'll let Jaxer explain that like while I'm getting prepared.
Yeah, so something that's important to understand as well conceptually is that a lot of even like these master model sections as well as like other sub areas are actually like not like distinct. Like you're noticing it's not going into a loading screen. They just kind of store these areas like way off camera or in like a different like section of the map. You just can't see it or it's like unloaded. So like when we were in like in Stimpy's master model, for example, that's why it was unloaded, is because we got there the wrong way and didn't have time to do the proper animation to stall for time to load in the textures properly. And so like because of that, it's actually possible to access some of these areas like through like out of bounds tomfoolery. So I think as we're getting there, this is a little bit of an auto scroller segment, but we're gonna see some out of bounds coming up. So the way that Out of Bounds works in this game, as well as Nicktoons Unite and Battle for Volcano Island as well, is that whenever you're out of bounds in this game and you fall like far enough below the map as like an anti-soft lock feature, it'll actually wrap you up. So what we're gonna do is get with a roll cancel jump far enough out of bounds, and then you're gonna see SpongeBob kind of just fall all the way down here into Jimmy's master model just like that. And so again, it's still unloaded. And then we jump into the tube just like that, and we're in the master model chamber. Nice.
Yep.
That's that. So that also makes use of that goo stalling where we shoot our goo gun midair in order to wait for a platform to be underneath us. But you still kind of retain like the terminal velocity, right?
Yeah.
So like you just like you stall, but then you just kind of like snap to the ground if you're not careful. So that was extremely, extremely good. That saves a lot of time.
Yeah, it's
again,
also
you're supposed to be Jimmy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really.
And it's a tough skip because you not only have to deal with like a lag spike that happens like right there before doing the roll cancel, we also have to deal with like barely getting past a kill plane that is like just above. So you have to also jump space like your roll cancel, making sure you're just like a lip above of the death plane. And then on top of not having to deal with the stun bunnies, which are the only enemies that attract towards you, and like they can like if you even if you roll, they have a chance of just like interrupting your animation and your roll, and then they just like keep you stationary, and then you have to like continuously move all over the place just to take them out. So like it's a mix of like all those like factors all in one skip. And yeah, it's just like to go out of bounds and be able like to skip a master model. So like it's good. It's just that like you just have to make sure that everything else like comes into your favor, which is the hard part mainly when it comes to doing that out of bounds. Right. And then yeah, we also collected the master model for actually I don't even remember anymore. I believe
it was Jimmy Neutron's.
Oh,
wasn't that? Yeah, right.
Well, it was a master model for Jimmy. Like it was the Jimmy master model level, but I believe I don't even remember again. But I think it was Tommy Pickles. I'll have to double check again in the menu.
So random.
Yep. Actually, oh wait, I completely just like fumbled for a second. I forgot there was like a cool out of bounds I can do right here. So I'm gonna actually just do it for the swag strat. Let me see if I can actually backtrack right here. All right, let's see how this goes. Right.
It's so dumb. So basically, we mentioned that I didn't have time to mention it, but one of the properties of the out of bounds in this game is that when you fall far enough below the map, it essentially wraps you upwards, like to a specific height. And so you just saw that little like camera flicker right there. So we like flip up to the top of the map and fall into a loading trigger. That's wacky.
Yep. So that just takes you to the very end of like, and there's supposed to be like an entire platforming section, as you saw like where I went earlier. But the out of bounds skips all of that, and it saves so much time. And like, because it's like it's precise like platforming it as well. So like it's not an area where you can even do roll cancels. So it saves a little bit of time just from that as well. And like messing it up is like, it's one of those areas where like if you mess up the timing of it, you're back to like the beginning of the puzzle section.
Yeah, very punishing.
So it just avoids that entire factor. And what's kind of cool is that the end level like area that you're supposed to normally activate is like way farther out than you would originally anticipate. So even though I wasn't like back in like the 2D area section of the out of bounds, like of like the end level, I was still like slightly like above, or like on top or like on the bottom of it. But because like the trigger, if it was able to extend that far, I was able to like hit to the end, and it was honestly pretty sick. And right now we're currently in a little bit of a chill spot because we're in Factory Zone 2, but we're in Part 2 of Factory Zone 2. So something that hasn't been mentioned is like there are 3 factory zones in this game that we are going to be seeing all of them playing throughout each of them. All of them have their own like unique designs. So you've been seeing like all of them have their own different types of themes. That separates between the Part 1 and Part 2 of them. But also like there's just like the master models entirely, which is also one of the cool things when it comes to like normally playing this game, is that because the game normally intends for you to like collect like as multiple characters, it has like a cool like system like method of being able to just like backtrack yourself into like a checkpoint. Also yeah, animation overlap right there. That's like a funny little gimmick to do. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Also, we just been an entire auto-scrolling segment, but luckily, like with enough of the time, it was just cool to be able to explain like the quick little thing right there. And we're going to be entering into SpongeBob's master model, but I'm not going to skip this cutscene. I want you guys to watch this glorious, glorious FMV animation.
Can't wait.
Let's go sliding.
Ooh, wow. Oh, not what I expected.
Yeah,
Worth the time, though.
they're never letting this go of this SpongeBob sliding on his tongue. They're never letting this. They're never letting this life as extreme moment go away.
Now, the
So,
one
yeah.
interesting thing about SpongeBob having a tongue, by the way, if he was a proper sea sponge, he would eat through his pores. So, like, yeah,
Interesting.
suck up through there. I know. Also, if he was a real adult sea sponge, he would not be able to move. Adult sea sponges are completely
I don't think
motionless
he'd be
on
a
the seafloor.
fried cook.
Oh yeah,
So,
there's no way.
probably a good thing that they took the route of doing like a joke with a human sponge.
Yeah. Artistic liberties, you know.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
So speaking of SpongeBob's master model, you can see it's entirely different compared to like the platforming ones that we would normally like have been encountering. So this one is just like, again, like heavy reference to that one scene from Sand Mountain, but it's also like it's just different for that entire reason, where it's also just like the same thing, like get to the end, and also I just want this animation to play because it's pretty sick. That's one of my favorite cutscenes. Is just how like
Just a little blink.
he stops himself midway, and then like he's like it's just kind of funny, but it still like makes him look pretty sick. He's like, I just did all that. But yeah, SpongeBob's master model is entirely different. Him, Danny Phantom, and Tack have different master model levels compared to the platforming ones that you've normally been seeing, because most of the other characters have those. So because of that, it makes it unique in its own way for that. It is also like one of the fastest ones. So that one we did is actually the fastest SpongeBob master model. So some characters have like repeating ones that we will also be encountering in the run as well. Some of them, for example, being like Timmy, Sam, SpongeBob, Danny, and Tack. They have like more than one master model specifically. And we were doing SpongeBob's for this zone because it actually is the fastest one out of all three of them. And if you're curious just how much faster it is faster by 2 seconds. So yeah,
Yep.
it's a 2 second difference.
2 whole seconds.
Yep, 2 whole seconds compared to the zone 3, and 2.5 seconds compared to the zone 1. So yeah, such major time save for that. But it's still kind of funny at the end of the day. But it does make it up for the fact that there is actually one specific master model skip that is the bane of my existence, and is the Rocco out of bounds one. And that one is a true run killer because it can cause you to just like get soft locked permanently, or hard locked essentially, where you have to like reload and lose all your time saves. So at that point, it's just like, you know what, let's just play a SpongeBob. And plus also like his is like one of the coolest ones. It's just one of the more like unique ways. It doesn't. Even though, like,
is it in this category? Is it actually fast to go for that Rocco master model strat?
It is faster because that master model it's faster than Gur's by like it's like because it takes like only 20 seconds to complete. The problem though is just because like you have to do a roll jump around an invisible barrier, and you have to hit the entrance trigger to it. The problem is that it's not like a roll cancel where it's just right above the pipe. It's at the very top of it, but it's at the top left of it or the top right of it. But if you're just so much as like a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right off, you can risk like not loading it in properly, and because of that, you get yourself soft locked where you're like essentially loaded into it, but every other like element is not loaded in, so it's nothing but just skybox and death plane. So it saves time. It's just a very tough one to pull off, and it's very late into the run.
You just caught me off guard because you just absolutely laid waste to Timmy Turner there. That was I wasn't ready for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's just been a natural habit ever since I've been running this game.
I mean, Timmy Turner had it coming.
Yeah,
but like,
you know what? If there's any Nicktoon character that you would, cross chop off a platform, Timmy Turner's a really good choice.
cross chop.
It also varies from category to category. So like if I was playing like no major glitches, I would be using Stimpy to just like knock off Jimmy Neutron out of here instead. But
that's even better.
That sounds awesome too.
Yeah, what's actually kind of what actually makes it sound funnier is that like Stimpy would just knock him out with a giant toothbrush. So that's like one of the,
wow.
Yeah, all the characters have unique like attack animations, which is kind of funny. So like it's all like SpongeBob's is like with the karate gloves for like. Some of the characters just use their own like hands and stuff like that. Gur uses like a bunch of like robot like stuff like inside of his head, and like it's just so cool. Rocco uses his tail, and then you just got Stimpy, who just has nothing but like a giant toothbrush, which I don't even think has any form of like reference to Ren and Stimpy itself, other than like a scene from him in space. But that's not even like.
I was gonna say, I was like, it's the space scene. There's like one.
Yeah, In some way, yeah. What's kind of funny is that his toothbrush in this game has like a small dollop of toothpaste, which is kind of cool attention to detail. But it's also like, yeah, honestly, it still fits him at the end of the day.
Imagine being whacked by toothpaste. Just getting it all up in your hair. Oh.
That depends. Are we talking about mint or blueberry? But if that even makes a difference.
I think goop is goop, Crow. Like, it's like
Goop is scoop.
Well, to be fair,
Jaxler 2026.
Different coloring as well. Yeah, it's a late night time here for Creature Corner, everybody. So, yep,
yeah,
discussions happen.
Yeah, it is the mech suit level after. Well, one of two mech suit levels.
It is one of the two mech suit levels. That is correct. Which, yeah, this is a way different like area that you're seeing compared to the platforming that you've seen like the past 30 or so minutes. So this is just like another like get to like the destination type of goal, like type of level.
Like get to the chopper. Might be.
Yeah, essentially. So we're inside like these like mech suits that Jimmy Neutron actually designed after we were able to visit Amity Park. And what we're doing is that we're actually like these are basically the Toybots that Professor Calamitous has made of like the characters. So these ones are of Sam. So basically what we're trying to do is like eliminate all of them in order to like progress onwards. And Jimmy Neutron was able to like use the same machinery and like ideas and blueprints that Professor Calamitous used to be able to make them for our own as well. And what actually does help is like again we have more like essentially the Nickelodeon slime right here. And luckily it's infinite, so there's no limit to it. The only one that has a limit is a goo missile, which is extremely overpowered. It deals so much more damage than like the current goo that you see me shooting right now. And the problem though is that like it actually has a lot of like it costs like so much ammo that like you have like a limit I think of only like 10 or 15 like in total for the full canister. But that's why we're playing as SpongeBob here, because SpongeBob is one of the few characters that has an upgrade in this area. So not only is his upgrade like insanely overpowered, so that's also another instance of like luckily having to play as him in this section, because like you know how I mentioned how like the ammo takes up quite a bit of the requirement space. So what you can actually do with SpongeBob is that his not only like costs less ammo to shoot, but if you hold down the missile button, you shoot out way more and it just goes way faster. So yeah, like they just intentionally made SpongeBob like overpowered as heck in this level. And you're gonna be seeing that like towards the very end, we're gonna be defeating like the quote unquote boss in less than like 20 seconds, which is still hilarious. So that's kind of like the main thing I'm doing right now is I'm trying to collect like as much of the goo canister ammos that I can collect, because I'm saving them all to the very end, except for like low instances of having to like shoot them down to like complete like or like, defeat some of the enemies as fast as possible. That's kind of the main thing with this level, is that like it's just very like movement dependent for this point. One of the main things as well I'm trying to make sure not to do is to get hit, because every single time you get hit, you get a slight knockback animation, which loses a little bit of time, and it can also lead to you sometimes also getting an infinite hit, which loses way more time and can cause you to lose a lot of health. And
the checkpoints in these mech suit levels are really tough. So it can be really punishing to take deaths in these levels.
Mm-hmm.
So like, even though it just looks like a bunch of water balloons, they are like, it's one of those things where it looks a lot more simple than it is, because it's like every little one of these bullets is just like a time loss bomb being sent at you, which is another interesting thing as well. This is the boss, quote unquote. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mario.
Actually, you know what? Never mind. We'll bring. It'll be more relevant for the other mech suit section.
We'll have enough time for that one. So yeah, we stopped like the giant toy Jimmy bot that Professor Calamitous made to attack Amity Park, and now we're back into like other factories, because we found out that actually first I need to get an instance of RNG. All right, cool. We got the good RNG. So just real quick, there's a random chance of you like randomly playing as either Danny or SpongeBob, but it's entirely random. But luckily in this instance, I got to be able to get spawned in as SpongeBob. So yay, run is not invalid.
Yeah.
It continues. But yeah,
oh
so
man, that might have been the first time that we would have had a full human be played on Creature Corner, and that would have been very cool.
Well, he's not a full human. He's half ghost.
Yeah, in
you're
this
right.
instance, he's
you know
half
what?
ghost,
Danny, it's allowed. Danny's allowed. We would have been okay.
Danny's allowed.
Danny's allowed.
Yeah, essentially. We'll count in the books. So why we're back in another factory is because we've been told that Professor Calamitous has teamed up with the Flying Saucer Men to take care of like more of capturing more Nicktoons heroes, and we're gonna try and stop them. Okay, that
You had so much freaking speed.
Yeah,
So slopes can be really evil sometimes with roll cancel jumps, where you can just get like either too much or because it's also like a slope and it changes when you like roll off. Oh, are we going for the strat?
no, it's not until like later on, but I'm not.
Right.
It's not worth it. It does skip like one of these like the cycle dependent like auto scrolling type sections, but it is entirely. It's a little bit precise, but it is still pretty cool to get at the end of the day. But I'm not gonna risk it just for safety. But I'm gonna try and go for like a cool little strat during it, where like I get the goose stall and like land on it automatically and try and sneak in a little roll cancel.
Yeah, that little roll cancel right there too to skip one of those platforms is also really tough.
Yep, and then right here is another instance of like momentum being stored inside the jumps. Like you hit, like the sliding speed right here is just stored in my jumps, and then right here it just teleports me, like it is able like to transport me all the way over here like very quickly, and it's pretty cool. In the meantime, there's a little bit of downtime right here, but I just want to quickly say this. This is a Wii port bug, and is entirely funny, and was something I did not know about until I played this game for the first time, because I grew up on PS2, but this factory music is actually playing the factory music from Factory Zone 1 Part 1, compared to the PS2 version, which normally plays Factory Zone 3 Part 1, the original one, which is, as you can see, like the entire area is supposed to be cutesy. And yeah, like the music is very like cutesy themed, but this one is playing the original one. Again, this is an entire like bug on the Wii version for some random reason, but it's just kind of funny like realizing it's also like, yeah, so those who grew up on the PS2 version never really got to experience it. Also, I just did a cool little skip there called Disco Skip, which used the roll cancel method, which was pretty cool. Oh, okay, that was another instance of slope. Okay, hold on, wait.
Oh, you got.
I can back. I got this. I got this.
Oh, that was so close. Good job. Greg.
Dang it. Yeah, no, it was still pretty
That was
cool.
still really cool to watch.
I'm gonna refill up my
Regardless.
goo, actually. Okay, there we go. I was gonna refill up my goo.
Safety goo.
Dang it. Yeah, this one is one of the instances of like trying to like precisely like do your jumps correctly. And, like, even though like there's no dynamic jumping, you still have to do like jump spacing in this section.
Yeah, this looks very, very difficult. I do not envy you right now.
It's rough.
Everything is so shiny and colorful.
Yep. Welcome to hell.
Yes, it does,
rotating
SpongeBob.
platforms.
Everything is so cute and shiny and wonderful, and it does want to destroy us. SpongeBob is correct about that.
It's not the enemies though. It's just the platforms.
No, yeah.
Platforms
I do
with
like the
faces,
balloon
though,
animal
so they might
turtles.
be enemies too.
In some way, shape, or form, yeah. Like that one over there, you can see on the left side. It's also the rabbit that just kicked me like straight, like that literally just pulled a Mufasa on me for a second right there. Yeah, basically. All right. So luckily, I did get respawned up there, which was thankfully like one of the few instances of checkpoints actually being favorable in this game. Okay, so I missed that cycle, so I'm gonna have to wait for it. All right. Yep. So luckily there's a
got
like
this.
the one thing with this game is that there's just like a couple of sections like this. You can see like just having to wait and get some perfectly timed in moments. This is normally the stuff we would skip with roll canceling, but and there are some instances where like some areas where we can't even go out of bounds without dealing with kill planes that just refuse to let us skip these. So that's one of the only downsides, but it's still pretty cool at the end of the day. All right, so there's supposed to be a combat section right here, but just a simple roll cancel, and that's like 20 free seconds right there. So that just saves like immediate time right there. And then I'm gonna go for a cool little swag jump right here. Yay!
Oh,
That's
let's go.
That's like a 4-second time save, but it's just kind of funny. Okay, so there's one coming up right here, and there's a random chance where if I do the roll cancel above like one of the lasers coming up, it just takes away the momentum. It just takes away like the entire momentum of the roll cancel. It's kind of funny, but even if I like die and end up getting that trick, it will still respawn me because I hit the checkpoint. So let's see how it goes. Oh, sweet! I didn't get it.
Nice.
And then luckily that thankfully doesn't reset the cycle right here. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna see if I can even go for this. I'm gonna try for the heck of it.
Please. Okay, so we go out of bounds here, and then we're looking to land on a bit of geometry, like after I believe a upwarp in a second. So there's the upwarp. Crow's using specific like timing cues to know exactly when to change angles because the camera doesn't keep up with us. Oh, almost.
Just barely
almost.
a little bit. If I was a little bit upwards, I probably held it for like another one. I'll try and go for this again. Actually, let's see how this goes. All right, this might be a little bit too low, but if I hold right for just enough, I should be able to land on top or around the. Okay, no, I tried going so like the checkpoint. All right, yeah, I'm not gonna risk it anymore. I'm just gonna take the normal spot.
That's pretty much what the strat looks like. It's just like, again, you're doing so much like out of bounds navigation where you just can't see where you're going. So
Yep.
Very tough.
it definitely does save good time, but it's like also really tough.
Yeah, it skips this entire section right here, which makes use of like again slope properties just being your worst enemy. So it does skip this, and then also having to like wait in this section for the cycle because that's just how the game was programmed. Luckily, it's not global, unlike a certain other Nicktoons game that released around the same time, LT Gray. But yep. So if I did the out of bounds, I would have spawned around like over here, and it would have been so like it saves like that much time, like around 15 or so seconds. But again, it's just very hard to pull off, and considering how late it is in the run as well, it's just make or break really.
It's Hotfix though. We got to go for the swag, you know.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. There's probably one more swag strat here that I can try and go for. It's kind of funny as well, but I'll have to remember if it was either here or in Factory Zone 3 Part 2. But it's kind of a funny one as well. So let's just see how this part
We endorse
goes.
funny.
And again, we just make sure to avoid lasers because yeah, friendly reminder, lasers are not your best friend. Please don't touch lasers or anything because they hurt you.
Good PSA.
Yep.
You did that one,
Sun is a deadly laser.
The sun is a deadly laser. Yep. Also, these platforms are deadly. These are like, by the way, these are maybe the worst spinning platforms I've ever seen in a video game.
Yeah. Oh, they're rough.
Yeah.
That's like one of the things too, is like when you're not doing like a glitchy strat or like roll cancels, like the actual platforming in this game is really, really challenging.
Yeah, it's very tough. And again, because of like the slope property, like there's a random chance where like instead of you being able to jump from like the other one, if you jump just like a little bit too late, you're automatically like gonna have like that slide storage. So like that's one of the instances where like even though it's good for like you can like jump out of like the slides like way faster, it does not work in that favor if like you're on one of the rotating platforms because it just hates you at that point. But as you can see, now we're in like a different area. So this is part 2 of Zone 3. So this is actually my favorite.
Oh,
area.
wow. You just got
sick.
completely robbed.
Yeah, I got the slide, unfortunately. Which, yep, like that was mentioned as well because of like the slope property. Unfortunately, like being working at the worst time. That's an instance right there. So yeah, we're in Zone 3, Part 2. This is kind of very encounter with the Flying Saucer Men who are teaming up with Professor Calamitous. And basically, it's just more of like just getting to the very end. We are going to be collecting one more master model, which is going to be one of the other ones of Sam's. We're just going to be just progressing onwards. And this level has like it's mostly supposed to like tied into like the locked like combat section fights. But again, because of roll cancels, we were just able to just get that one that just showed up right there by just jumping on top of a spaceship and then doing a roll cancel to just land on top of the platform and being able to skip that. And one of the other like enemies that we have to like deal with, which are like these spinner tops. It's luckily it saves a lot of time and it's pretty cool. This is also just one of the sections where you have to make sure not to get hit because if you actually get hit by this, you die and automatically like have to do the very beginning. And all of these like generator like portal things, they respawn and like are reset specifically, and they require a lot of like damage to do. And yeah, again, like this game this level tried to force like more like combat sections for you by just throwing enemies at your like every single part in your way. But you don't really have to do it. I mean, we could just do roll cancels out of them. And then right here comes a cool little like timing step right here. And you're actually seeing that like as soon as I'm like grounded, I'm able to do a jump right after. So this is actually like a cool little buffer jump that I can do. And that's a save right there.
Nice
Ooh,
save.
nice.
And then that's going to lead to a cool roll cancel at it right here to go out of bounds. And by doing this, I jumped into a later area, which causes the level to unload. So that's the skybox right there. Okay, and then like they're supposed to like those lasers that I mentioned earlier in the PSA. They're supposed to be right here, but they're unloaded, but their collision is still intact.
Oh
so
no!
Because of that,
Invisible lasers. The only thing
invisible
worse than lasers.
Okay, that was a little bit early. Actually, wait, hold on. I gotta redo that again. Oh yeah. Also, Danny's just going ghost and is just floating midair right there. So,
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, there's normally supposed to be a platform right there, which is where you're normally checkpoint. But yeah. Oh, I didn't get the loading. Okay, that saved time right there, actually. Normally it's supposed to there's supposed to be a loading screen when you actually die and respawn, but I guess that didn't happen.
Yeah, you're right. That's weird.
That's
that is
wild.
interesting.
Whoa.
I wonder if it has something to do with you taking an extra death there that you weren't planning on.
Probably, yeah, because since I was in, because I didn't hit the lag, because the
had more
game
loading
didn't
time,
lag
yeah.
spike, but that normally signifies that you hit the checkpoint, because I died before the lag spike even happened. And you know what? Saying it
Kowalski
always every time,
analysis.
that has actually never happened before until today. So
Say the line, Bart.
that's never happened before.
Yeah.
But
truly
yeah,
a
no, that
cartoons
is
episode.
actually interesting. That is actually pretty cool. That's literally something that's never actually happened at all. Like when trying to run any category that involves that section of the run, including with the roll cancel. So that's actually pretty cool. All right, so we got some more lasers right here. This time they're loaded in. So yeah, now you can see them this time. And we're just gonna be rolling onwards, and then from here we're just gonna be doing another generator segment right here. Luckily, this one doesn't require as many shots as the first time, because the first one we had to only strictly use our goos, but this time we can also do a full melee. So what I'm doing is making sure to hit it 6 times, and then with the goo, and then essentially doing a full melee, because doing a full melee makes it way faster and also preserves more goo. So it just makes it better, but also it's just kind of nice to be able to show off SpongeBob's karate gloves right there as well. And then right here, the generators are done. We could just avoid that enemy section right there. And then here we are introduced to the flying saucers again, which have the people that are teaming up with Professor Calamitous. Why they're teaming up with him, we'll never know, even considering that these people have a high IQ. We actually and looking through the concept art of this game, we were able to figure out, or it's easy to know who specifically are the flying saucer men in quotations. Okay. I did not have a good space jump moment right there, so that was unfortunate. But luckily, we are just be able to be checkpointed to the beginning of this part again, so it could just be able to continue onwards. One of the main instances when it comes to the trampolines is that if you try and do a jump right before as soon as you're about to land, that just eats up your single jump input. So that didn't really happen there, but it's still a very odd instance. Also, that was an intentional death because this actually resets this platform cycle and makes it way faster. Saves it only again, another faster strat, even though I just costed the time save right there, but oh well. But basically it's another instance like SpongeBob. It saves 2 seconds. Whoa.
Wow.
All right, and then
Hey, 2
now
seconds
doing
is 2
another
seconds.
any character skip.
yep, so that's another type of the any character skip method. Again, it behaves similarly to the Jenny one, where we have to jump outside of the platform, outside of the top of the pipe. The difference is that with Jenny's, hers have an invisible platform, but on this one, the wind slightly is outside of the pipe, which pushes you up a little bit higher. And as soon as you're stationary, airborne, you could do a double jump and land on top of the pipe because it has enough of an area to be considered as a platform. And because of that, you can just jump on top and then hit the entrance level to be able to do the master model without Sam. So yeah, that is the 9th and last time we're going to be able to do collecting the master models without SpongeBob. So that kind of answers the question of if SpongeBob was able to do
he didn't go into the pit. He went uppies. Oh, I got robbed. I wanted to see him go into the pit of despair. But he,
not this
the
time,
elevator
though.
ride. Cringe.
Oh well, I mean we've seen enough of Tack and then also Timmy Turner having to deal with it. It's just happened too many times at this point. Alrighty. So
I disagree. I think it could have happened more to Timmy Turner, but
actually, you know
don't
what?
like Timmy
Before
in this broadcast, huh?
before entering the next level,
no.
we'll just
Timmy Turner took my wife in the divorce. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Many questions.
Many people are asking this.
No one's asking.
People are asking this.
Until now. Also, here comes Lag Spike from Hell. Okay, good. I had to deal with it.
Yay.
But yeah, so that lag spike is consistent on Wii, and there's a chance where at any point, it's not a frame perfect one, but if you actually do a jump input at any point of a specific window, it eats your jump and you just automatically die. So that's literally why it's just called the lag spike from Hell. And then right here, we're dealing with the UFO spaceships again. So now we get to do it's essentially, I guess, another mini boss section. All we're doing is just shooting goo at them, and that's basically it. But yeah, speaking about like the characters, like who they are, like the Flying Saucermen, they are actually the Urkins from Invader Zim. Yeah, the Urkin Armada team up with Professor Calamitous. Quite an interesting collaboration right there, and still one of the most questionable ones to figure out in the Nicktoons lore. Actually, and also, you know what? We don't like non-creatures here, so goodbye. Anyway,
Also, I also just love how Cosmo and Wanda just go flying.
bye, Timmy.
Yay. No more Timmy. Cosmo Wanderer.
And now let's go out of bounds.
Yep, now let's go
Yay.
out of bounds.
So this is the most chill vibes portion of the run because like we're in Fairy World right now, but we're just gonna get out of bounds and hold right. And because when you fall far enough, you just get teleported up to a default Y value, you can just keep going until you get to basically the end of the level.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's awesome as you can see. It's just like one of those moments where you like, at least with this out of bounds, you just have to hold right the entire time, and that's basically until like a certain point. So like, it's definitely not like after like a certain point, it can get a little bit tiring, but it's like it saves so much time in this level. Like compared to like it's 100% consistent. All you do is just a simple roll cancel, and you just hold right, and then you just wait, and then you're at the end of the level. But it beat out the old out of bounds method that used to be done here, which was very inconsistent, very hard, and was a true run killer, which could have also like caused a soft lock as well, which was definitely like one of the hardest like out of bounds in the game at that time. But then we found this one, and it saves way more time. It saves much more time than the other one, because this one is done at the beginning compared to like halfway. And doing this compared to like the old one saved at most like a minute and a half, and even doing this like glitchless saves upwards of like 3.5 minutes. So it skips so much because like this level is mostly all about moving up and down as opposed to left and right. So because of that, there are many sections like where we're in like getting hovered upwards and like going around like
Waiting for an elevator. Yeah.
stuff like that. So like that loses a lot of time, and so instead we just go right the entire time, and we're able to save a bunch of time from it. So it's just a really nice trick. It's definitely one that like we kind of labbed for like a couple of days before finding out that this was the most like consistent method, and it's just been like included in the speedrun since, and it's just made like it's like a nice resting point, and just something to be able to just like chill with in the meantime before the final split, aka the final level, when everything goes like haywire and everything.
Yeah.
Well then,
okay.
considering that we are holding right to win, I did want to just quickly talk about, we've been mentioning PAX East all night. Jaxler, are you going to be around PAX East?
I have submitted for PAX East, so I would really like to go. I'll say probably going to go.
Well, either
because
way,
I went with Richard last time, and we went to this place. So it's in Boston, right? And we went to this place in a neighborhood called the North End, which like has like it's an Italian neighborhood, and we had like the best chicken parm.
that sounds great.
Like they served it to you in the saucepan that they like prepared the meal in.
Oh wow,
It
that
was
sounds awesome.
heavenly.
Wait, I remember that one. You showed me a picture.
I showed you the picture of that.
It looked so
too.
sick.
I did.
Actually, that was actually
Oh my
cool.
goodness.
That was like just straight up like Picasso on a plate at that point.
That sounds delicious. If y'all want to make like Jaxler and maybe also have chicken parm, we are accepting PAX East submissions still. So please go ahead and type !PAX in the chat to get all of those links. And PAX East is going to be from March 26th to 29th in Boston, and we are going to be live then with our special event there. It's going to be a load of fun. So check back in then and submit your runs.
Do it.
Do it.
I've done it for the past couple, and it is a lot of fun. It's kind of cool too if you've never gotten to do it, because it's like, you know, compared to like, you know, a GDQ event where it's all speedrunners, because it's at like a convention, like you have people who like maybe have not interacted with the hobby before, so it's like a really kind of unique thing. So it's a cool opportunity. You should take it.
Do it. Oh yes, someone.
Do it.
He had to say it. It was for a good reason.
Do it.
But yeah, so like we were able to get to the end of Fairy World. Why we were actually in Fairy World is because we had to save Jorgen von Strangle from being like captured by Professor Calamitous. So we were able to free him, and he said that he would take care of it, and then also gave us the coordinates of where Professor was. So basically, like now we're in his lair. So yeah, this is his whole lair. I don't know if it was his idea to design all this, but this is like this needs some like true remodeling at this point. Like he needs to get this to some.
It's chopped. It's bad. It's like
it's something, that's for sure. Like I don't know who would like want to do like go through all of these turrets and all of these, like I guess you can consider them as water balloons, just to be able to reach to like the computer desk in his lab. I don't know, like I don't understand like all of this and like a bunch of blimps and everything. It's like, yeah, sure, add that to the shopping list at that point. Why not? And then yeah, just a bunch of helicopters and everything. Like this level just throws the whole kitchen sink at you at this point. So it's just more of like, this is one of the instances where you have to be very careful with your health. And as mentioned earlier, like about Amity Park, how like the Mexu levels don't have that many good checkpoints. This level has the least amount of like helpful checkpoints, because many of them can help you lose upwards of like almost 50 seconds to almost a minute. So this is like one of the crucial points in the run where you have to make sure not to die, because you can just lose like instantly 50 seconds like that by losing a lot of like health and everything. So this is one of the few levels to mainly keep track of your health. But there are thankfully some like few health regenerators throughout the level. It's just making sure to be at, like you're at a safe point. Also, that's the main time save when it comes to running this game on 16:9 by 4:3, which is kind of the only reason why I've been running on 16:9 this whole time, is just because of that 2-second time save right there.
Yeah.
And 2 seconds is 2 seconds. We'll take it.
So for those who don't know what aspect ratio means, so because this was like a Wii game, you could either play it in like the kind of like square box 4:3 or like, you know, TV widescreen. And so in this game, like if it's not on camera, it doesn't exist. But if you're in widescreen, the view of the camera shows more of the game. So more things are on screen, so you can shoot them from further away. Which like is like a tiny little thing. I mean, obviously you also like, I don't even know if PS2 offers widescreen. That's part of the reason you want to play on Wii.
Sadly, no. That's also the thing. Yeah, PS2 is locked specifically to
4:3.
4:3. Yeah, Wii is the only one that has like actual 16:9 like widescreen full compatibility, which is, it makes it better for this instance. But still, like square like 4:3 box mode is still like honestly a way to go when it comes to like playing most like games.
Just play the game. Like that's the other thing too, is it's like this run in particular, maybe don't start with this, but like this, as far as like if you're looking for a speed game to get into, this is a really good place to look.
Oh yeah,
like the any percent run is like really well documented and has like a bunch of really cool stuff that you didn't see in this run. You kind of like weirdly jump all over like the game progression in the any percent run, because you do some like crazy wrong warping stuff.
Oh yeah.
But if you want to see that, you'll have to check another VOD. I believe Crow has done it on Hotfix before that category.
Done it on Hotfix like 2 times, and then also like all Master Models has the same thing as well. Which I want to give a shout out to all like the hosts for them. I want to give a shout out to like all the shows for that, and then also like to Mr. Shasta, where I was able to run all Master Models like the last time I ran this game like a few weeks ago, where that was a fun one. And then as well now that's
also a cool category.
Oh yeah, that was actually my favorite category, because that has like the most like if you're a fan of Nicktoons references, all Master Models includes all of that, because you have to collect every single Master Model and like play almost every single one of them, and you get to see like the different types of like ones like Danny's and Tax, for example, and still being able to like see the pretty cool glitches and tricks that this level that this whole game has entirely, which is pretty cool. Okay, let's see how this goes. All right, nice.
Oh yeah, and just to answer a question in the chat as well, this is not a Wii U release. This is a Wii game that's being played on Wii U. Wii U's are backwards compatible with every Wii game. So it just, you play on Wii U to make it, like, obviously you get to play on HDMI, and it also makes the loading time slightly faster.
Yeah.
A little bit less laggy in certain areas as well.
Yeah, it does actually prevent lag in some small instances. Some of them are just like kind of like hard logged or like hard encoded into the game itself, like the lag spike from hell, as mentioned earlier. Which it's probably just because of like so much has to like load in on this version compared to like PS2 at most of the time. So it's just like a rare instance. It's like one of the few instances where like it has lag like that. But in terms of like frame rate, it does actually like run a little bit more smoother like on this one compared to Wii. Mostly like in some small instances, it's mostly dependent on like a few of the characters or like how much is essentially like showcased on the screen. But normally it kind of goes away if out of bounds. It's kind of similar to how Nicktoons Unite works, where like it lags when like several things like are in the way. But it's not as like noticeable, but it's kind of there to the point where it does lose a little bit of time. So that's also why we're playing on Wii U as well. It's because Wii U luckily like fixes that performance and makes it way better. Also, we're coming up to the very end, but I'm not gonna say what specifically could happen because last time I did that, that ended up happening. So fingers crossed this doesn't happen. Yep, let's see how this goes. We're cozy tonight, honestly. We're cozy at this current evening in Creature Corner.
We are.
The vibes are immaculate.
Very good run. Very good.
Oh yeah,
night.
it's been great. All right, not out of the woods yet. And then normally we would end time at this point when the cutscene first starts playing, but I actually want to end it at a certain other point just because it's gonna be like it's gonna make sense. So I'm not gonna be the one to call time, at least like first, but we'll let this continue. So let's give it a couple of seconds.
I'm intrigued.
Alrighty. We are seconds away from calling time. And time.
Time.
Oh, that's brilliant. It's like the only game ever that's ever done that.
Yeah. Let's just say that was a nice little idea by Shasta. I was like, you know what? Let's just like include that now for like every single marathon run I'll do of this game. That's just gonna be the new timing method at that point for like marathon specifically. But in terms of like the actual time method, I believe that was like a high 58, which honestly not bad considering like the couple of mess ups and also just this category just being like extremely hard. But it was still like pretty interesting at the end of the day because again, we were able to do something that the developers never intended, which was being the whole game as anyone else but SpongeBob, which is still like a crazy thing that is even possible. On top of like the fact that this is supposed to be like a Nicktoons game playing all of it. Oh, there he is again. Oh, and then
that's what. Oh, Danny shouldn't look like that.
Yep. But yeah, no, that was honestly not a bad run. Record is a 55-11 by me from like a year ago. Which is still like one of the coolest like and most like insanely like optimized runs I've done for this game. Not one of the most. That one still goes to any percent because that was just an absolute insane run. Which if you are interested in seeing like the any percent run, seeing just how much of a difference that is compared to like this category, it is a huge difference. Several things are showcased. Like similarly, some of them have their own differences. Actually, before I get started with shoutouts, I actually just want to show this off this final cutscene right here. So I want all you guys to enjoy this really great subtitle for the video game of all time. Cry of dismay.
Cry of dismay.
Yep.
Relatable.
Honestly, that is very, very relatable. Actually, before I get started with shoutouts, Sane, if there's enough time, is it okay if I could be able to show off like a funny way to end off the showcase?
Absolutely.
Alrighty,
we
cool.
have time for a little bonus.
Alrighty, so this is gonna take like a couple or so minutes, but we're actually gonna be re-entering into SpongeBob's factory for like his master model for Factory Zone 3, which we didn't enter, but there's a funny like little gimmick that we can do, which is gonna be kind of funny to showcase, but it's gonna take a little bit of time. So in the meantime, I'll just go ahead and give some shout outs out of the way. So first off, I want to give a shout out to the Nicktoons speedrunning community. We're not really like there's not many of us in the community, at least for right now, that like are active, but we still like to be a little bit active here and there and just being able to like showcase stuff, like just talking about like our games, like our favorite games from the series and stuff like that, and just being able to say like, oh, like we gave this game a run, like we gave the run a try and stuff like that. It was just anything like that. It was what makes it kind of like pretty nice to see. On top of the like just being able to just like play some of the games for like the interest or just for nostalgia and everything is pretty nice. On top of that, I want to give some shout outs to some runners. So for this game, I want to give a shout out to Schnert, our glitch hunter in the community, who has found many of the glitches, some of them that you have seen showcased, including the roll cancel. That one was still like one of the biggest like coolest discoveries ever found out for the game. Because like it just broke the game entirely, and like an entire day we were able to like shave down the times by quite a lot. I also want to give a shout out to Storage and the Only Stick Boy, as they were like my two inspirations for running this game, and I just can't thank them enough, because what originally was just a childhood game turned into one of my favorite like speed games to try out during COVID, and yep, it has now resulted in this, and I have no regrets, and it's just been such an absolute blast. I also want to give another shout out to Broran, the former record holder, and one of my great friends for like the past 4.5, almost like upcoming now 5 years. You're a really great person, man. I'm very happy to be friends with you, and you've just been such a nice person to be able to talk with on a daily. I'm really happy that you got to also try out this game as well. And before we get started with this, I also just want to give a huge thank you as well to Jaxler and Zane. Jaxler for helping me out with commentary, and to Zane for letting me be able to showcase this really unique category for this game. Just being able to just show that you can be able to beat the game as a creature essentially, so it counts.
It counts.
Yeah, of course.
It counts.
It counts. All right, so
Well, of course.
before we end this off, let's just see one more time of this glorious cutscene. So,
Let's go slide.
Oh, yep. Nightmare Bob.
yep, nightmare.
Again.
All right, so we're gonna be playing. We didn't actually play this level during the show, during the run, because it is slower by you guessed it, 2 seconds.
Wow.
But
It's almost like you said it earlier.
whoa. But yeah, we're just gonna be doing this, and basically what's gonna happen from this point is just going to the very end, because what's kind of funny is that you can actually soft lock yourself super easily at the end, and that's just by not doing a single jump. But I'm gonna go for a little slag jump for a quick. Hey, there we go. That's pretty sick right there.
Very nice.
All right. So yeah, we got another 20 or so seconds. So Jaxter, if you have any shout outs that you want to give, or just wanting
Yeah.
to feel free.
Yeah, absolutely. We mentioned the community a little bit as well. If you're interested, there is a Nicktoons speedrunning Discord server. If you're looking for any just people to talk about the games with, or any help on if you want to pick up some of this stuff yourself. This game in particular, if you're looking to get into a Nicktoons game, is probably, I would say, the best place to start. This or Volcano Island. So yeah, feel free to holler at either of us if you.
There we go.
Finding resources. I've never seen this.
Yep. So if you don't do a jump at all at the end of that platform, you just get pushed towards the wall, and you're now soft locked essentially. So you can't jump out of it. You can't do anything to get out of it. You're just stuck, and you're floating in the air as you watch as SpongeBob is just infinitely sliding on his tongue right here. So yeah, this is something that I casually experienced one day, and it was just this is odd, but it's funny. So this was just a way to be able to just end the showcase of SpongeBob by why not doing something other than doing something that life is just extreme, and
Life is but a dream.
however it goes. My mind is kind of out of it right now.
That's okay. You just played as SpongeBob only for an hour. You're allowed to have holes in your brain, so to speak.
I need a Krabby Patty after this.
Yeah, I'm starving. Let's go get a snack.
Yeah, y'all should go get some
snack, you
snacks.
say?
Yeah. Because, well, that is the end of Creature Corner for the night. Excellent job, Crow. Thank you so much for being on the show, both of you. That was a great showcase of a really unique category that the community has poured a lot of attention into. Really cool to see. Now, the best part of this is that even though Creature Corner is over live, you can stay on the channel, because if you missed out on Out of the Box or Creature Corner, you can stay tuned as we replay both shows after this. And of course, you can tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern for a special Thursday double feature with Perilous Paths and the Scenic Route. So we'll catch you back here tomorrow, and some more tonight for the replay. Stay frosty, everybody.